Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another awesome live stream again with Ryan and Anthony. And today we're doing another horror franchise. Oh, can you guess which one? Yeah, we're all repping Halloween. Yes, we're going to be going through the Halloween franchise in a little bit different way than what we've done before. So we've all watched the films, and both Ryan and Anthony sent me their rankings of the film, and I had my own ranking, and so then I did averaging all of our scores and stuff. So I'm going to give you our average like group ranking of it, and I got graphics and stuff that'll show each individual scores and stuff. Also, before anyone calls me out, yes, this is an idea from the Autop stream YouTuber guys that do their 31 on 31. But I love their graphic ideas. So I was like, hey, guys, let's do this. And they're like, okay.
Hey, you gave him
So
a shout out. That's good, man.
yeah, I don't want to take credit when it's not even my idea. So might as well. Um, so before we get on, Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Appreciate another stream. I mean, last time we did that at Cydia stream, that was really fun. So glad
Yeah.
to do another ranking here.
Anthony, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Ready to talk about some Halloween films, some Mike Myers. I think it's going to be a blast.
Yeah. So, before we get started, both of you guys, what's like your fandom, I guess, of the Halloween franchise, just in general?
I would say for me, I didn't really grow up a lot on horror films as much. Like I got into them later in life, so a lot of the Halloween movies I haven't seen like a bunch of times. Like most of these were second time watches. The only one that was a first time watch going through all these was Curse of Michael Myers, the sixth one. It's the only one I had not seen ever. So I would say that probably not as crazy as some other people, but I really have fallen in love with the franchise. So yeah, I mean, like I guess it's a little bit different because, like, for me, like, I haven't watched them a dozen times. So it'll be interesting to see where our rankings lie because, I don't know how much you guys have all seen them through. So it'll be interesting to just, like, see how your guys' takes on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and I've been a long-time fan of the Halloween franchise. I watch these religiously even when it's not around Halloween time. So, for me, this was a really fun one to do just because, like, I'm constantly watching. I don't want to say which ones, but I watch some more than others. But, I don't know. Overall, I enjoy the franchise. I really do. Even though there's a lot of weird sequels and ones that don't necessarily make sense, and then ones that are in like a whole different world of their own that aren't linked to the original. But I kind of like that. I like that they're a little all over the place.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of different like artistic visions coming in and out as well, and I don't know. I really dig the franchise a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because Friday the 13th feels very like, it's doing its thing. You know what I mean? We're at Camp Crystal Lake. People are getting splashed up.
And then a Friday the 13th, there's just that one like timeline,
Right.
with the exception of the remake. Halloween, there's like 5 different timelines. You can
they
kind of
go
like
all.
choose your own adventure franchise. You're like, I like this timeline.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna watch these.
Yeah, and I like that. I really like that. So,
Yeah.
what about you, Fox?
I really like the Halloween franchise. I didn't get into it, I want to say, until around about Halloween Kills was coming about, honestly, or well, when the trailers first dropped for that, so like 2 years before that movie ever came out because of delays. And I thought the trailers looked interesting. It's kind of like when I was getting into horror, and I had seen the original Halloween, and I'd seen 2018, and so I was like, oh, might as well watch them all before Kills comes out. And so I watched them all for the first time, and then I've watched them all again for Ends, and so this is my third time watching through the whole franchise, and it's a franchise I really do enjoy, and I've liked it more every single time I watch it. So
Nice.
pretty good.
Pretty good, man.
Fair enough.
Uh-oh.
Is there anyone
I think
else?
my internet. Did you guys hear all that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You just kind of froze for like
Hello?
a second there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Perfect.
That
Okay, I
damn
just want to make sure the whole thing wasn't crashing down.
Yeah.
StreamYard's been
Yeah.
weird too lately.
All
'cause-
right. So without further ado, oh, go ahead, Ryan. You go ahead.
Oh, I think we may be on a delay.
Yeah, I think there's a delay.
Yeah, we're on a delay.
Oh, am I on the delay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're getting a
Yeah.
delay from us.
Shit, I am on. Oh, that's wonderful.
Do you got to start your? Do you need to like start your internet over or anything like that?
No, I just disconnected my phone from the internet, so hopefully one less device on there is good.
Yeah.
You're a little bit clearer now. Like, you're a little bit fuzzy for a little bit, but you're clearer now. So I don't know if that helped, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll roll with that. Real quick, we'll get some comments. Wilkie's Movies and Music. What's up? Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Wilkie?
What's up, Corey? How's it going, bud? Corey just started his own channel.
Yep, I got him subbed. I think your video is what prompted me to, or somebody's video did. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I showed it in my community tab that he just started. He's got like 2 videos on his channel now, and they're really good. They're really good. What's up, Holland?
What's going on, Holland?
Hello, Holland. He seems like one of our regulars when we do our streams, so.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Hey, Ellie.
Allie, what's up, fellas? Hello. Then everyone else just saying hi to each other.
Awesome.
All right. So let's start off with number 13. Should come to a surprise to no one, but averaged number 13. Halloween Resurrection. I had it at 11. Anthony was correct. And Ryan was at 12. So
pretty close.
So yeah, no, it's pretty close. So Anthony, you hate this one the most. You go
Yeah,
first.
so I guess I should lead it off then, since I hate it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this movie's just, I mean, for one thing, it completely like undoes everything great that H2O, ends with. Like H2O ends perfectly, and then here comes Resurrection to be like, nope, undo all that, forget about it. Yeah,
just big middle finger.
And it's just the most unceremonious, death for Laurie Strode ever. I mean, it's so bad. It's almost like they should have just not even had her in the movie, to be honest. They should have just skipped that whole opening sequence and just went on to like a different story or something, because it's one of the, she gives him the kiss of death, like, right at the end, then he like drops her, lets her go or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so yeah. And then you have all these, like, some of the worst characters in the entire Halloween franchise. They're so boring and very just generic. There's nothing to them. The final girl is garbage. I mean, I'm sorry, but her acting and everything is just terrible in this movie. Really bad. The kills are okay. They punk out Michael Myers multiple times. Busta Rhymes is just like, get out of here, man. He's poking him in the chest and doing these like, freaking karate chopping him, kicking him out a window, doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, really? I mean, this is what we're doing to Michael Myers, Yeah. I like some of the, like the little cameras that the GoPros and stuff that they have attached to them. That was kind of ahead of the times too, because now we see that all the time, a little GoPro, reality show type program going on. I thought that was a cool idea. I like that. That was something different. But it wasn't enough to save this movie by any means. It was an okay concept to do that. Because of all the reality shows and stuff that were like kicking off around that time too. So it made sense that they were going that direction. But yeah, just overall, really awful movie. Just bad, in my opinion. And I gave this a rating of 1.5.
That's what I
Out
give.
of 5. Out of 5. 1.5.
I give it a 1.5 out of 5 as well.
Yeah. So Ryan, what do you think of this one?
It's terrible, dude. It's like it's just on a different like realm compared to the other movies in general. Busta Rhymes, though, he does crack me up a few times in this. I mean, at some of his line delivery and just some of the lines and dialogue they give him. I think there was like a line he has towards the end or whatever. It's really funny. I can't remember, but he's I don't know. I mean, there's like a crazy cast of characters in this one, but I don't know, like there's just not a lot of memorable stuff from this one. And I don't really like. I don't even think I really even liked Michael Myers' mask as much in this one either, compared to some of the other ones. It's just it's just not a good one to watch.
It's got like the evil arched eyebrow thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the mask at all. And it's just in general the plot. I think it's funny too when they're in the house and like he breaks through the wall when they're having the sex scene or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just not like the normal, I guess, like Michael Myers we're used to. It seems kind of like, I don't know, like spoofy or something. Like, let's throw Michael Myers into a random old house and just slash up some random people, I guess.
Yeah.
But
are you with me? Are you with me on that? Did we need Laurie Strode in this movie at the beginning at all? Did we need that?
No, we didn't need her. Like, I mean,
I'm like, why? Why
didn't add to the plot?
Right. Why kill her
Like,
off?
literally the only thing that having Laurie Strode in this movie is to make it a sequel to H2O. Like, you could have just taken her out and then it's just this random Halloween movie. Like, that's literally the only purpose that it serves, and it destroys H2O. Like,
it does.
So,
it really does.
like, yeah.
So what about you, Fox? What do you think?
I'm a tad bit more forgiving than you two on it, and I mean forgiving as in it's so bad that I am entertained by it. Like everything your guys are saying, I'm like, yes, you're right. This is horrible, like Trick or Treat motherfucker, like Busta Rhymes and stuff, and he beats Michael by electrocuting his balls, like like what? Like, it's so terrible. But every time, all 3 times I've watched this, I've busted out laughing every single time. So like, it's horrible, but it's higher on my list because I got some enjoyment value out of it, more so than the 2 I put lower than it on mine.
Fair
No,
enough.
That's the only reason why. It's like, it's just one of those movies where it's indefensible for how bad it is. It's just slightly entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's it. And I'm pretty sure my score is the same as your guys on it, or maybe I had it slightly higher for like average stars, but not good.
We pretty much agree. It sucks.
Yeah. Like, most people say that Halloween Resurrection is their least favorite one. Like, when I look at Letterboxd lists and stuff for like Halloween ranked, Resurrection is usually at the bottom for most, or like rankings on YouTube. It's pretty universally hated.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Busta Rhymes has the best lines in the movie. The line about Michael's baggy overalls and the one about him being crispy like some fried chicken. Like, it's not good, but it's hilarious. Like, it's one of those things where you're like, no, this is so bad. I can't believe you're doing it, but you're laughing the whole time.
Oh my god, man.
It's something. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones I'll go back just to make sure I'm not crazy and rewatch like every 5 or 6 years or something. And then I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh god, yeah, because those characters are so terrible, man. Especially that, you know what it is too, it really is the final girl, because I just do not care about her character at all.
You don't care about any of these characters. Yeah, especially like trying to get a new final girl in the Halloween franchise, and it's like, the final girl of this franchise is Laurie Strode, and you're trying to make someone else this character. Well, I guess and Jamie Lloyd, but still, it's like you can't beat those characters, and you're trying to with this bad character, like try and stand her up against them. So yeah, not good.
Nope.
All right, number 12, Halloween 5. This was my least favorite. Anthony had it at number 11, and Ryan had it at number 9. So, I'll kick this one off because it's my dead last. Yeah, I don't like this one. It's just this is like when the Halloween, that Thorn trilogy kind of started to lose me with like, oh, Michael's part of this cult and the Man in Black stuff. It's more prevalent in 6 more than this one, but this is where it started getting introduced. I mean, it's just so boring, this movie, to me. Like, I'm just so actively bored because there's nothing interesting, no good characters, no really memorable kills all that much, and the mask is god awful. I hate this mask.
Booty.
Like when the neck is like just as wide as the head 'cause it's like flared out, and like the hair just looks weird. And then I think isn't this the one where he like takes off the mask and is like staring at Jamie Lloyd in the attic? Yeah, this is this one.
The
Yeah,
tear comes down.
yeah, like just like what? I just like it's not, it's so boring, but then the parts that are semi interesting are bad.
Yeah.
It no. I'm just so bored of this one. I don't like it.
The Nick Cage mask. The mask that looks like Nicolas Cage
from Con Air.
Oh my god, dude. It's so this movie, you know what's really sad the most is that this movie definitely had some good potential to it. You know, like I really think because there are certain scenes like where the kids are out in the woods, you know, and there's like the fog is rolled in, and you know it's super dark out there, and you got all the trees and everything. The kids are terrified, and you know, you got Michael Myers out there stalking them. That stuff was all really cool. There's some good atmosphere in this movie at times, but that goofy ass clown music that they play when the cops roll up every time is ridiculous. Oh my god. The like clown music when the cops roll up. I'm like, why? It takes you out of the immersion every single time. So that's bad. They once again, this is another movie that kills off a character. They kill off Rachel again in like the most unceremonious way. She's such a badass in the 4th film. And then they just kill her off, and she just takes a knife to the shoulder. It doesn't even I mean, she just gets like stabbed here, and that's it. It's such a terrible death. And it's just so, God, that's so disappointing because her character was so strong in the 4th film. So it's like to take her out like that. Now, originally, I guess they wanted to kill her by Michael was going to put the knife like in her throat. She was going to have a really gruesome death, but the actress didn't want that. So they couldn't do it. Yeah. So she was going to have a cooler death. It still would have been stupid to kill her off, but at least her death could have been cooler. But I guess the actress had she didn't want to be killed off in such an explicit way or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's just a lot of, I like Donald Pleasance in this movie because it makes sense that he's a broken down man at this point. Because if you went through everything Loomis went through, and this guy just keeps coming back every time, you would go crazy and start drinking too. I mean, Loomis is a nut job in this movie. I mean, he's using the little girl as bait. He's losing it. Yeah. But I like it because it kind of makes sense for his character. He wouldn't be just the same guy in every movie. I mean, so I kind of like where Donald Pleasance goes in this film. So there's stuff I really like, and then there's stuff that I'm just like, God, this is terrible. Like cookie woman, where she's like having the vision and she's trying to tell them what's going on. And I'm like, oh my God, why is this in there? But then you have dope lines like, Loomis telling the sheriff about like, how he wanted Michael to burn in hell, but he knew in his heart hell would not have him. You have like awesome lines like that in the film, but then you just get all these other stupid. There's all this other bad. I don't know. So it's kind of, there's some really good stuff and some really bad stuff, but the bad does outweigh the good for me. This is a nostalgic film for me though, because I watched this one a lot as a kid. But yeah, Ryan, what do you think of? I'm sorry. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5.
That's what I gave it.
Okay. So Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a slower paced movie, and he doesn't use, I don't think, the knife as much in this one, if I remember correctly. So I remember he uses the pitchfork to kill the couple on the farm. Then I think like he electrocutes a guy. I think like got like a was it like a, I don't know, some electric plant or something.
Oh no, that's the fourth. That's the fourth movie.
That's the fourth one. Okay.
That's so Bucky.
Yeah,
that's Bucky.
Okay.
Okay.
So this one, this is the one where he does like the pitchfork or whatever, and then the mask isn't that great in this one, and he's got the crazy looking hair and everything.
Yeah.
This one, definitely the pacing really slowed down in this one. I felt like it took a while to get to the kills, and the story wasn't that strong, and it wasn't a horrible movie, but it just, I don't know, it just nothing really. I don't think it was as strong as the fourth one. I feel like the fourth one was stronger, and I felt like with this one, it just it tied over from the fourth one, but it just, I don't know, like you said, like it's going back into like the cult. It's starting to go into the cult phase, set up for 6 and everything like that. But overall, for me, it was just okay. Nothing like too exciting for me.
Dude, there's literally a scene where Michael Myers is stalking a couple of the ladies, Tina and the other friend, and he's it's broad daylight, and he's just like hanging out under a tree. But he's not like posed like the Michael pose, like looking dead at him. He's like kind of wandering around the tree, like kind of circling it, and his knife is just like kind of at his hip or whatever. Like, it looks like the actor is just wandering around. There's nothing. It's almost like they forgot that he was back there, and he was just kind of like walking around, like,
wandering around set.
Yeah, like he didn't even realize, like, hey, we're filming, bud. Maybe get in the character a little bit. I mean, he's literally just circling this tree. You got to go back and rewatch that scene that I'm talking about, because you just see him under the tree. And he's just, I mean, it's like he didn't even know that they were filming. I'm surprised he didn't just take the mask off, have a drink of water, Oh my God, so bad. So bad.
I'd also like to add that like this kind of does what Resurrection does to a certain extent, where you kind of destroy the ending of the previous film, which is far superior. With like the ending of 4 is really good, of like, well, now Jamie Lloyd is kind of got like this evil in her now and whatever, and then like Loomis screaming no at the stairs and stuff, and then this movie is just like, oh, she's a mute now,
right?
And like they don't really, to a certain, they don't like do a whole lot with that, and it just kind of like that's just such a cool ending and such a great cliffhanger, especially like parallel to how the ending of H2O is such a good ending.
Yeah.
They just continue it in not a good way, but to a lesser extent here, if that makes sense.
And this film was also dangerous in a lot of ways too, because the scene where Jamie's like trapped in that vent and she's trying to crawl out of it, and Michael's stabbing into the vent, he's using a real knife in that scene, and he accidentally cut Danielle Harris's leg as he was like stabbing into there, because he had like a real knife. She actually gets cut in that scene for real, because they were just so I don't know what the director was thinking. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, she almost got like filleted, or
Wow.
she almost got stabbed, decapitated, whatever. Because I don't know, it wasn't the safest of productions, that's for sure, especially for these kids.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the way they used to make movies, they're like, ah, yeah, you can just use real things, knives and stuff. Like
Yeah.
safety doesn't matter. Got Mike
Hey,
from Did
Mike.
You See That? Through Legends of the House. Hello, Mike.
What's up, dude? How's it going?
I'm very jealous of Mike. He gets to see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie tonight. I'm
Oh,
pissed
sweet.
that I can't see that tonight. I've only ever seen the original, both Rob Zombie and the new trilogy. Definitely need to catch up. Oh, I've also seen the best moment, Busta Rhymes kicking ass. That is true. That is true. That is actually number one on our list is just Busta Rhymes.
Buster Rhymes.
Number
Is
one.
he our new what is the from
The
City
breathing
Star?
apparatus guy.
Yeah, is he our new guy?
Busta Rhymes. Who would win, Busta Rhymes or breathing apparatus guy? Who'd win?
I'm pretty sure Busta Rhymes would say trick or treat, motherfucker.
and then kick that guy's ass, and then he'd die of asthma.
I feel like anyone could have taken down breathing apparatus.
Yeah, all you gotta do is like run away because he can't
Right.
run. Otherwise, he's gonna
Just
run out
kill
of
him or
breath.
something.
Surely the average score for Halloween Ends is 5% out of 100. Well, hey, hey, no, next up we got Halloween Ends.
Hey, there it is.
Oh, there's
Wow, Fox
my
has it at
crazy
6?
score.
Fox.
And then
Thanks.
Ryan, worst thing ever. Anthony, slightly not worst thing ever. Me, kind of mid thing ever.
Wow.
So Ryan, why is this the worst movie ever?
Because it's false advertisement, man. What the fuck?
Hey, who wants this?
Yeah,
who Corey Cunningham?
You're telling me that you walked into a movie called Halloween Ends. That's the third movie in a trilogy, and you expected Michael Myers in that movie? Is that what you're saying?
What a sucker!
Expected a fight,
Yeah.
man, not a
Kitchen grudge match.
What the hell, man? This movie, I'm telling you. It didn't get better on a second time watch. Yeah, I mean, this one, the opening scene is cool. Like, I mean, with the kid, like his neck getting snapped back. I mean, I didn't expect that. And
Yeah,
like that
killing kids.
character is fine if they were going to continue the series with him being the new Michael Myers, but spoiler alert, they don't. They kill him off. And I hated that they did that because like half the movie we're spending so much time with this character, this new character, and he has this love story going on. And Michael Myers, I understand it more now because Michael Myers, he's weak at this point. He's in the sewers. And I do understand from the fact that, that this kid, he's being bullied. And, I feel like it's at least authentic in the fact that, yeah, if somebody was being bullied like that, like there is definite, terms for them to snap like that and want to kill people because the town like completely doesn't like believe his whole story about they really thought that he wanted to kill the little kid and everything like that. He's constantly bullied and ridiculed around the town, and I didn't like the fact that we introduced that. And Michael Myers, obviously he's weak in this film, and we do get moments where they kind of team up and they kill together. And there's a couple brutal kills in here, like the disc jockey guy, like with the tongue and everything like that. That's pretty cool. Like there's some cool kills, but I think it works only if it's not the last film in the trilogy. I just don't like they introduce it as the last film in the trilogy and they false advertisement by telling us that it's going to be a showdown because Laurie in this, she's trying to move on. She's, writing the book and everything like that, and just kind of putting him behind her in a way. And I just don't like the fact that we get 10-minute scene showdown with them.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time it ends, it's like, because they want to reboot the franchise, I believe. So I don't know where they could go from there. You know what I mean? Like, he's killed off at that point, right? Or is he not dead, really? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so like, if they want to reboot it or redo it, like, I don't know how they can do it, because they killed off the new character they introduced, which they spent so much time on this romance and building him up, and I understand that, but it's just like, it's just really disappointing from an ending of a trilogy building up to something completely different than what we all were expecting. That's my whole thing on it.
Yeah, and I pretty much echo all your sentiments on that. You know, it was just a terrible end to a trilogy. You know, it just makes, I didn't hate the film because Corey Cunningham, I think the actor that you know, portrays that character did a fantastic job, especially for just coming in for one movie and giving like, or you know, getting the majority of the story, you know, and he really, the movie is hinging on his performance. So I think he does a fantastic job. It's just that, you know, we want to see Michael versus Laurie, or you know, something like that, because it's the end of the trilogy. Like that's what you want. This would have been a cool story, like kind of like a Halloween 3, where it's kind of its own thing in its own universe, whatever. Like, or you know, spinning off into something else. Like Michael gets killed and then it gets passed on to Corey. Like, you could have set up something really cool, but you needed to set it up in one of the previous 2 movies, you know, in either Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills, and then I would have been all for it. I mean, but it's like this movie didn't commit to anything. It didn't commit to the Laurie versus Michael story, and it didn't fully commit to the Corey Cunningham story. Mm-hmm. So it just felt like, what's the point? You know, it feels like such a half-ass attempt at both. Yeah. And it's like, I would have given him a lot of props if Corey had just killed, you know, old man dying Michael Myers in the sewer, taken the mask, taken his power, all that stuff. I would have given the film a lot more credit, because I'm like, man, that's ballsy to do that, you know, to kill your lead guy and then just give it to this new dude, you know, and you know, and I thought his love story with Allison was very believable. Those two have really good chemistry, so that was There's some good kills, like you said. I also like the blowtorch to that kid's mouth, you know. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I gave this a 2.5 out of 5, because, like I said, it's just it's watchable, but it's just a poor attempt at both, you know, trying to end a trilogy or trying to start something new. Because you kill off Corey, so it's like, well, what was the point? I mean, why even, you know? So yeah. So what about you, Fox? You had this at number 6. So
yeah, what the hell?
defend your love for Corey.
Yeah, defend my love for the perfect movie. So don't listen to Ryan or Anthony. I'm here to tell you why Halloween Ends is a perfect 5 out of 5 film. This is my channel, so it's actually number 1. So no. So Halloween Ends. So there's a lot of stuff that I agree with what you guys are saying. This is not a good conclusion to this trilogy at all. In fact, like, I can almost guarantee you this is not the original intent for this, because they've said that they said years ago that all 3 of these movies take place on one night. Then you get to this one, you're like, clearly this didn't happen. You guys sat on your script for years because of the pandemic. Then you're like, oh, let's just change it up and do some weird shit. So I would have loved, and I still really want to see what that original planned ending to this thing was going to be, right? Like, 100% I would prefer getting that over Halloween Ends. Just like, when I watch this movie, I think of it more as like a Halloween 3 type situation, where it's just kind of its own thing, I guess. Like, I can distance it from Kills in 2018 to a certain degree and just kind of watch it as its own thing. And I like the story on like a basic level of like this guy who's like teetering on the edge of insanity, like meets a serial killer that pushes him over the edge to start killing people and stuff.
Mhm.
Like if you just did that, not in the Halloween franchise and certainly not the end of this trilogy, I think you could have a pretty badass movie if you like fully develop it, you know, and not tie yourself to Michael Myers and Halloween. So like when I watch it, like that's basically my defense for it is like I just like that story, but but my score is significantly hurt that it's just a Halloween movie. Like if I was basing my ranking and my score on this is a Halloween movie, like a Michael Myers Halloween movie, it would be significantly lower and I would be more in line with you guys. But I just like hopefully that makes sense of what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah.
And like also like things that I think that are weird, like that moment in the sewers where Michael and Corey just like lock eyes and then it's like, oh, we're murder buddies now. That's just like that is so weird to me.
Yeah.
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 That's weird. I think the kills in this movie they're good, but they're a step down from 2018 and kills from like
Yeah.
especially kills where they're just like look at this gore fest. In this one, it's not a ton of gore because it's more character driven if that makes sense. And
Mm.
so like I was a little bit disappointed with the kills in this one. Um and yeah. I mean, I'm eternally curious to know what the original ending to this trilogy was gonna be. We're never gonna get it though. Um, so this is what we got, and I think it's a good movie, just not a great Halloween movie.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But it's like it's one of those movies where I know exactly where Ryan is coming from because didn't you give this like a 1 out of 5 on
So
your
I
ranking?
gave it a 1 out of 5, and I base that off of the fact that they sold it as a story to tie
Oh
up
yeah,
the movie.
yeah,
But if
completely
I look at it,
mismarketed. I give you that.
yeah, from the marketing standpoint, but if I look at it from the perspective of like the new story and like what they tried to do, I respect it for that. But it's just hard when you advertise one thing and it's not that, and
Right.
it's disappointing in the wrap up portion. But like, is it something where it's so bad like I just can't watch it ever? No, like I'll watch it again, but
Sure.
it's just it's disappointing in the fact of how they chose to go that route. Like I said, if Corey survives and he is the new killer, then I think I wouldn't be as harsh with it. I still would be kind of disappointed with the well, I don't know what they would do for an ending technically if he was the killer. Now that would be interesting to know what they would do for an ending. Um, but yeah, like it's one of those things. It's on its own in a way, but it's false advertisement of how they wanted to wrap up the trilogy. So
Yeah,
that's why I give it
and
one
so
out of
like yeah, and like I understand where like that side of the argument comes in, right? Of like just like this isn't what I was sold and like not liking it in that respect, you know? Like I understand where you're coming from on it. It's just I don't know. It didn't really affect me that much, if that makes sense. I
five.
feel like a lot of this movie too was expectations, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Because you could walk into it with two different expectations and I was kind of already primed for it to not really be what I wanted based off of early buzz and stuff that I had heard. So I had kind of lowered my expectations and kills kind of disappointed me even though I still like the movie. It disappointed me and so I certainly lowered my expectations for this one, but I don't know.
My expectations couldn't have been any lower going into this movie because when I first saw Kills, I hated it coming out of the theater. Hated it.
Mm.
So when I walked out, so when I went in to go see Ends, my expectations were like, whatever, give me whatever you're gonna give me. So it did surprise me more. Like I enjoyed it a lot more because it did something different or whatever. It's not a good end to a trilogy or whatever, but it did. I was pleasantly surprised, because Kills, I hated those characters so much. They're so stupid. I mean, I just wanted the entire town to die. But in but in this movie, in Ends, I actually liked Allison a lot more, and I liked Corey, and so I was like, okay, this is something different. And that opening scene with that kid getting killed and all that, like that really took me off guard too. I was like, wow, okay, this is gonna be something a little different. There's something weird going on here. So, that's why I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, because I actually don't hate the movie, but I feel like I can't go any higher than that score because it just it kind of fails at both attempts that I was trying to do. So it's just this weird kind of like Fox was saying, in its own universe kind of thing, like Season of the Witch, but still it is a terrible end to a trilogy. So you got to keep that in perspective as well. So even if I do enjoy the film, it's still a terrible end to a trilogy, and they kind of punk out Myers again, kind of like they did in Resurrection, and
Give me your mask and just get
give me your
shoved
mask
over by Corey.
Just his old ass over. Get out of here.
Like, no, that's not something I want to see.
I know. God,
But,
I feel like calling the authorities for Michael. I'm like, he's harassing this old man. What are you doing? Beating up this poor old guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. This is actually the only movie I've ever watched twice before I did my review, because I was just I didn't know what to say in my review, and I went to go watch it again just to make sure I got everything right. Also, before we move on, I'll say this though. Just looking at this, if I were to rank this as like a Michael Myers movie, because I kind of just ranked it as a movie in general,
Yeah.
if I were to rank this, I'd probably go about number 10 on my list.
Okay.
Like just above Resurrection in my list.
Now, Fox, what did you rate this out of 5 stars?
I think on Letterboxd I have it at 3.5, but it's like in that zone where it fluctuates between 3 and 3.5. Like, you could ask me today or tomorrow, but that's just what I gave it that time. And
Okay.
a lot of that's just because I just like it as a story, not necessarily as a Halloween movie.
Gotcha.
But also kind of to defend it above the other ones, like, it's, besides like the story and stuff, it's competently made. Like, you have good performances. I think David Gordon Green's movies all are shot really well, regardless if I like them or not. Exorcist Believer. But they're all shot really well, and so like on a technical side, it's technically better than
They do look good.
like the ones below.
They do, yeah. They do. That is true. I'll give David Gordon Green that. All 3 of his movies do look really good.
And have good scores. They have good scores.
Oh yeah, because John Carpenter and his son, did the scores for him and everything. And they did a phenomenal job. So yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
All right.
Best movie ever. I think we're in agreement, right? All right. Next up, 10th place, Halloween 6: The Curse of Michael Myers. Anthony loves this one at number 7, and me and Ryan, not big fans of it. Before we get started, which cut of this movie did everyone watch? Because I know we kind of had a discussion about that before.
I believe I watched the producer's cut.
Which one did you do, Anthony?
Well, I've seen both cuts, but on the rewatch recently for this, I watched the theatrical because that's my preferred cut of it.
I've only ever seen theatrical because that's the only one I own, and I can't seem to find the producer's cut anywhere to buy it. Otherwise, I would watch it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know. Just curious. We're not, for anyone who's watching this, we didn't do both cuts of Halloween 6 or whatever. We're just kind of like, pick whichever one you want to watch and watch it.
No, I think that's a good way. Pick whichever cut you want to talk about and go from there. Yeah, I think that's fine.
So Anthony, how about you go first since you've seen both cuts?
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. So yeah, I'm a really big fan of Halloween 6: The Curse of Michael Myers. I think it's got great atmosphere. You got the nice fall feels. The mask looks great. George P. Wilbur plays Michael Myers. I think he does a great job. He also plays him in 4. He's big, he's bulky. I'm so happy that they finally got the mask right. It doesn't look like a weird Nick Cage mask or anything like that. So I'm glad it looks good. The kills in this are amazing. There's so many good kills. Now, I'll say this. If you're watching the producer's cut, a lot of those kills are taken out. That's the problem with the producer's cut. So you miss out on a lot of good gore. Like there's a scene where the dad's getting electrocuted, and in the producer's cut, he just gets electrocuted, and then they kind of cut it there. But in the theatrical cut, he's getting electrocuted and his head literally explodes. And it's really good. And there's also a scene in the theatrical cut where that one guy's running away, at the third act of the film when they're running away from Michael and all that stuff. And he just gets his face smushed into the bars. And it's brutal, and there's blood run down. That's not in the producer's cut either. So there's a lot of good kills. Jamie, older Jamie, now played by a different actress. She in the producer's cut, she lives. She doesn't get killed in that barn, but in the theatrical cut, she gets killed in the barn. Michael throws her on top of this piece of farm equipment. She gets impaled,
turns it on,
and then he turns it on. There's just blood and all this stuff, and it's a great kill. So you don't, so a lot of the gore and stuff gets cut from the producer's cut, sadly. So that's one problem I have with it. It also, I feel like, meanders a lot more. You do get more Donald Pleasance in the producer's cut, but it kind of drags more, whereas the theatrical cut, I feel like, has better pacing. So, and I like the characters. I like Paul Rudd. I know he's a little whatever. This is his first role. But I think he does a good job at playing kind of like a neurotic, paranoid guy, as you probably would be if you had gone through what he went through. And I like the actress as well, that lives across the street from him and everything. And I really like the characters in this. I mean, the dad is such a good dickhead. Like, I love characters like that where he's so cruel. I mean, he just slaps his own daughter, calls her son a bastard. I mean, this guy's a piece of shit. I mean, this guy, and he plays that character very well. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to enjoy about this movie, because I think the directing's good too. It's just the story is a little all over the place. It doesn't quite line up perfectly, and some people don't like the fact that Myers is being controlled, but that never bothered me, because at the end he kind of just, breaks free of it, snaps out of it, and goes on a killing spree, so yeah, it just goes to show you that you can't really control Myers. He'll eventually always break free of it, He's just a killing machine. But I liked it. I thought it was an interesting story, just because they tried to do something different with it. I like the cult stuff. I mean, it didn't bother me that they were controlling Michael or any of that stuff. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. So really enjoy this one. What are your guys' thoughts?
How about Ryan? You go. This is your first time with this one, right?
Yes, I gave this one a 2 out of 5. I watched the producer's cut. Yeah, this one definitely pacing was an issue. The other thing was with this one, I felt like it lacked some intensity in the producer cut as much. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know I'd have to look up what the original ending was for the director's cut, but the producer's cut, the ending was Loomis is like part of the cult leader, I think is what it was. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, because he has like the mark or whatever. And then I read something like, didn't somebody else die in this movie, like in real life or something? They couldn't.
Loomis, Donald Pleasance passed
Pleasance
away.
That's what I thought.
Shortly after he finished filming, and
this is like his last film role.
Loomis, he gets the Cult of Thorn thing. At the end he's screaming, no, and all that stuff. But so in the producer's cut, that's a good point that you brought up, Ryan. It's so bad. They literally stop Michael Myers with stones. Mm-hmm. They remember Paul Rudd puts out the stones, and that like stops Michael Myers from doing anything. Right. It's the dumbest ending It's so bad. That's also in the producer's cut. So the ending in the producer's cut is terrible. Whereas
What the
in the
hell?
theatrical cut, they like, freaking smash his face in with like a pipe. I mean, they're just like beating Paul Rudd's just going to town.
Yeah.
It's way better. And then Loomis, he gets the the Cult of Thorn tattoo thing, the mark of Thorn, and you just hear him screaming at the end, and that's when it like cuts to black, fades to black, and it's a very ominous, dark ending. But I like that a lot. But to stop Michael Myers with stones in the producer's cut, that's awful. That's so bad. So
It sounds
Yeah.
almost as bad as pushing him over in the sewers, but
yeah, exactly. So I don't blame you for giving this one such a low score, Ryan, because you saw the producer's cut, and I do think it's a lot worse. So yeah, I see where you're coming from.
And I think the scores are different too in both cuts too, is what I was reading as well. So because I wasn't a big fan of the score in this one as much. And I did read that the scores are different apparently. So I don't know. I'll have to watch the director's cut when I get some time and compare the two.
The score in the director's cut is really good.
Yeah,
sorry, the score in the theatrical cut is really good.
Yeah.
I don't really remember the score in the producer's cut, so it must have not have been that memorable.
No.
But in the theatrical cut, I feel like it's pretty good. So yeah, watch the theatrical cut and let me know what you think. When you get around to it, when you get some time, because it'd be interesting for you to compare and contrast after you watch it.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm curious too. When you guys have watched these, have you watched any like the commentaries or listened to any of the commentaries while you've watched any of them? Because
I love a good commentary, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I will eventually, though.
Yeah, because for a few of them, I did a few of the commentaries just to learn a few things. But what's really interesting to me about all the films, like they don't film them any time during the fall. Like they had to create like their own leaves and stuff like that, and create the scenery. Like I thought that was interesting. But
absolutely, yeah.
So,
what do you think?
So this one and Halloween 5 kind of flip-flop for me for which one I dislike more. They're kind of even for me. It has a lot of the same problems as 5 in like the story department, I would say, with like going farther into this cult thing, which I still don't enjoy in this one since I didn't enjoy it in 5. I mean, Loomis, he's fine in this one, but like it's not as good. It's just kind of like he's just kind of there just because he's there. Like to me it just doesn't feel like he has a whole lot to do in the film. I mean, I love Paul Rudd as an actor. I don't think he's great in this movie, but I also don't think he's god awful like everyone makes him out to be. I really enjoy Michael in this movie. Like he's awesome. It's kind of like a prototype for what James Jude Courtney was going to be with like the brutality especially. The mask is decent in this one for me. But it's just that story with the cult stuff. I just don't care for it at all. Like pretty much the only mileage I get out of this movie and why I bumped it up over 5 this time is just because I enjoy Myers in this one and I enjoy the kills and stuff. Otherwise, it's just a story I don't care about and kills off Jamie Lloyd, which I thought was a pretty interesting character from 4 but let's not discuss 5. But yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I will say the score is pretty good too. It's got a good atmosphere too. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that theatrical cut then. I watched the bad cut apparently.
It's good though because we get a couple different points of view because you watch the producer's cut. I've seen both. Fox, you said you've just seen the theatrical, right?
Yeah, because that's all I own. Also, this 3-pack is so weird. I wanted to bring this up. This Blu-ray 3-pack is so weird. Like it has H2O and Resurrection, which are the same timeline, which makes sense. But then why is 6 here? 6 is a different timeline. It's just so weird for me as someone who knows the timelines.
I think it's because those are the ones that the studio owns, and that's it. So it's just that's just how it happened to be.
Probably why you can only ever find that one box set for the first 8 Friday the 13th films, minus the Scream Factory thing.
Because the first 8 are all Paramount for Friday the 13th. Yeah.
every time I start watching these movies, it's just like so weird to me because I'm like, oh, time for a new time. I'm like, wait, no, I'm still
Yeah.
watching the Thorn movies.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. That's weird to me. Little side tangent. All right, next up, number 9, Halloween Kills.
Oh, Ryan and I.
Anthony and Ryan agreed.
Ooh.
Number 10, and me a little bit higher, number 7. This is also my favorite graphic of the night. I love this, the image of Michael in the fire.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Sweet.
That's like
Brilliant.
one of the most iconic things from the new trilogy is like the whole Michael emerging out of that fire. They played that up in the trailers. So,
Oh yeah.
I'll go first because I'm the odd one out putting this at 7. So Halloween Kills. Um, for those who don't know, I love Halloween 2018, and we'll get to that eventually. So Halloween Kills, what 2021 it came out, was my most anticipated movie of the year. I was like so excited to see this movie, like could not wait to go see Halloween Kills. I was like, this is going to be hopefully just as good as 2018 and have like this insane carnage in it. And I was right about the insane carnage, but it's definitely not as good as 2018 for me. The story in this one is a bit all over the place. Um, just with like so much going on, characters being so stupid, the whole like chasing the guy through the hospital thing. I don't like that scene at all. Um, Michael literally being indestructible. Like, how many times is this guy gonna get shot, stabbed, hit over the head with a sack of bricks? Like,
That ending is
he's
so bad.
literally the Terminator in this movie. Like it, like I can stretch my believability quite a bit for films, but
Yeah.
like if you're gonna go definitive that Michael's like a human and not like this supernatural entity, no way a guy's gonna survive all this stuff, especially like a 60 or 70-year-old man. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the kills in this one are awesome. Um, it's got great shots and great memorable scenes. Like I know I mentioned it before, but like the whole fire stuff at the Laurie Strode's house from the
Yep.
end of 2018. That whole thing's awesome, badass. Like the coolest shot in the movie is when like that's just all the firemen outside and they all just like look at the doorway and just from the darkness Michael emerges with that burnt mask. He's got that thing and the fireman like, oh, he's gonna fuck us up.
He goes
So
on a rage with the firemen.
and he goes on that rampage. So I love that scene. Um, really a lot of my mileage on this movie just comes from the kills, which this movie does incredibly well. So, but for it being my most anticipated movie the year it came out, it was certainly disappointing. And I don't know. Who would like to go next?
You want me to go?
Yeah, you can go if you want.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So when I saw this movie, because I don't know, I came out of the theater just so utterly disappointed, and I remember sending like this long text message to my friend, just like how irate I was after watching. And for me, it's just the kills were great. The the mask looks incredible. I love the way the mask looks. And the atmosphere, the Halloween feel, having the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch masks on the kids and stuff too, I thought was a nice touch. The skull, the pumpkin, the witch, I thought that was cool. But these characters are just
Dumb.
Stupid. They're so
oh
stupid.
God, they're bad. And yeah, I just the actor playing Tommy Doyle is just like the least intimidating guy ever. I mean, he's
from the Breakfast Club, like
right. He's the nerdy skinny guy from the Breakfast Club. I'm like, Michael will whoop your ass, dude. What are you doing? I mean, he goes out there. I got old Huckleberry, the baseball bat. I'm like, what? Michael's gonna shove that bat up your ass, dude. Are you crazy? You cannot come out there with a baseball bat. I mean, it's so asinine. I just can't get over it. It's just there's so many bad character decisions. I mean, the lady literally shoots herself because Michael kicks the door, and then she shoots herself with the gun. You know, remember the lady that's dressed as the nurse? I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Or
also, like,
what?
Like, why is she like wasting all of her shots, like walking, like so forward? Like, why do you even get out of the car? Just stay in the car. You have a gun. He has a knife. You're gonna win, unless you're in this movie and Michael's indestructible. But it's just like, why would you get out of the car? Like, it's just like so much dumb shit like that. The characters
there's just so much stuff like that, and then you got the whole Evil Dies Tonight thing. You know, like, oh my god, that's the worst part of the film. What's funny is on subsequent viewings, watching this, like after I got it, and got it on 4K, and I watched it a couple more times, I actually enjoy it a lot more than when I first saw it. It's the hospital scene, the Evil Dies Tonight, still terrible, and the characters are still bad, but James Jude Courtney, just watching him shred through these people in the town, and the music, the score and all that stuff, like, it's still, there's enough there to make me like somewhat interested in it. Like, it's still kind of a fun ride in a weird way, even though there's so much bad to it. So I don't know. I still get this weird. I feel like every time I rewatch it, I get a little bit more from it. Except, I mean, like the bad characters don't change, but I love watching Michael just like go through this town and just take them all out and stuff. And Big John, Little John was kind of funny. Like, I didn't hate that. That was like okay, these characters are kind of they weren't too bad. At least they were kind of funny. I like both those actors too, so that probably helps. But I gave this one a 3 out of 5 because, like I said, each subsequent viewing I've grown to like it a little bit more each time in a weird, bizarre way. I don't know, but yeah. What about you, Ryan?
So I gave this one a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay,
so pretty close. My favorite kill in here is when he goes and the older lady, the black lady with the kitchen light.
Oh,
dude, that's like my favorite kill in the whole movie. But I think it's really brutal. Like graphic. A lot of stuff you've been saying, like the characters are dumb. Dude, the ending with the whole them like literally he gets shot like a bazillion times. He gets stabbed with a pitchfork. I mean, it's just so. I mean, it's just like, come on, man! Like, it's just no logic at all. Like, it's that part is bad about it. I guess if you look at it from a perspective of, the fact that it's Halloween Kills, I mean, you definitely get the kills and the violence and the gore. I'm not big on the Tommy Doyle character. No. But it's better than Ends, but it's not as good as Halloween 2018 for me anyway. But it's okay. Like, I think if I look at it more from like the kill perspective and not so much like, I guess, like logic and some of the dumb characters, I mean, I guess you can kind of have a fun time with it. Like that's kind of how I view this movie. It's one of those things, like if you like a bunch of gory kills and stuff, like it's there. If you don't, if you're looking for logic or you want stupid characters, or like, this is the film.
Yeah.
So,
all right, this is
that's how I feel about it.
This is kind of like the Halloween film that just like you just throw it on in the background like that. That's kind of like I don't know, how I kind of feel about it. Like it can just be on in the background while I'm doing stuff, and I'll just like pay attention when it's the kill scenes, and I'll be entertained by it. But if I'm like actually gonna sit down and like 100% focus in on the film, then all these flaws are gonna start popping up, and all these little things about it, and it's not going to be as good of an experience.
I will say, from David Gordon Green's perspective, with all three films, all of them are shot really well.
Mhm.
And I also like how each mask, like, it has like an evolution of how, like, he's just like going through so much shit, like, with each film.
Yeah.
So I do like that about this trilogy. Like, the transformation of the mask, I think, are perfect. And in the way that they're shot, they're all shot well. So
Yeah.
and they're all particularly pretty, they all have their good violent moments, I should say. Like, so I think they're all good in those aspects.
Yeah. And I love
The
this scene
mask
too with
is
the boy.
definitely angrier. Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I love just talking about the kills. I mean, I love the kill where the boyfriend gets like his neck snapped on the banister. He gets like he's like hitting him, doing all this stuff, and then like he's still barely alive, and his neck's just sticking through the banister, and then Michael just like stops, looks at him, and his girlfriend Allison screaming like, "No, leave him alone! Don't do it!" And Michael just like looks at her, looks at him, and then just like snaps his neck. That was really a good kill. There's a lot of. And I actually they did make me like his character a little bit more in this movie because he saves Hawkins at the beginning. So the boyfriend I actually liked a little bit more in this film than I did in 2018 because he saves Hawkins, the cop. Because he got hit in the jugular with that knife. In 2018 he was bleeding out and he got ran over or whatever. So the fact that the kid saves him, that was cool. And you got to feel for his character a little bit more, like he felt bad or whatever about what happened between him and Allison, kissing that other girl at the party, stuff like this. So you got like a little bit more development from him, I felt like. And then they kill him off, but at least they made me care about his character a bit more. But that, and I was gonna say Paul Rudd, actually they asked him to come play Tommy Doyle again for this film, but I think he was filming like Ant-Man or something like that, so they couldn't get him to play the part. So then they hired the guy from The Breakfast Club, and like, could you imagine if Paul Rudd would have come back though?
That'd been interesting.
I feel like that would have been a lot better, just because he has the charisma and all that too. I think.
And he's much more into his career now, too,
That's true.
instead of like his beginning of his career with Six. So he's a much better actor now.
And but another dumb thing is like all these people are chasing after that penguin-looking dude, that has the umbrella. He literally looks like
Danny DeVito.
He literally looks like Danny DeVito as the penguin. The other patient that they're chasing around the hospital that ends up killing himself. They're all chasing this guy. They think he's Michael Myers. And I'm like, does this guy look like Michael Myers? Like, he's like a short penguin fat guy, old guy. Like, I'm like, he looks nothing like Michael Myers at all. Just the
also,
and I understand, because you got to remember they're showing like pictures of Michael Myers like on the TV.
Yeah, on the TV screen in the bar, they show both of their pictures.
And they should know what Michael Myers looks like because he's like that town killer and stuff. Like he's the one that everybody tells stories about and stuff. So they know what he looks like. So it's like, why are you chasing this poor guy? You can tell he's not all there and everything. And it's like, I'm like, it just makes no sense. Like it really doesn't. It's like they should know this guy isn't Michael Myers. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That whole thing was just that's the worst part about the movie.
I was gonna say that
if you could like edit that that stuff out of there, just that hospital sequence out, then I feel like it would be a lot better.
I agree.
Or at least make it more believable. Make the guy similar build to James Jude Courtney.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say about with Ryan with like the mask, this one feels like with like the burn, it just makes Michael seem more angry and stuff, and it definitely fits the vibe of this movie with like the bloodbath he unleashes. So
definitely.
We're also way behind on comments, so let's go through some comments real quick.
Yeah.
All the way back to Halloween Ends. Michael got COVID since Kills, and damn, old age goddamn finally since 1978. Hey, if Bullets doesn't put him down, I guess COVID does.
Yep.
Halloween Ends will get a 5 out of 5 from me if someone creates a fan edit having Busta Rhymes kicking Michael Myers into the grinder.
There you go.
That's to imply that it already wasn't a 5 out of 5?
Great
What?
choice.
Halloween 6 is goated, best movie in the franchise, best kills. Paul Rudd, loved the characters. Loomis, final appearance, amazing atmosphere, scariest film, best portrayal of Myers, extremely underrated.
EC,
Wow.
I completely agree with you, man. I completely agree with you. It's a very underrated movie. It really is. It really is. But Ryan watched the producer's cut, and that is the worst cut of that movie. So
Yeah.
I stand by that. The theatrical cut is the way to go.
So
Got spicy 4K action.
Yeah.
Hello.
Reed?
Everyone saying hi to each other. Weird Science Kid would totally beat Michael's ass.
Oh my God, Holland is so. Every time I can never take it seriously, especially when he grabs that baseball bat. I'm just dying laughing.
Especially with like the lines they give him. That's another thing. Like some of the lines that they give Laurie and Anthony Michael Hall to say are just so bad. Like when right after the car crashes and shit, what's his name? Tommy, yeah. And Tommy's like, "Oh, Michael's gonna come. Take a good Huckleberry here. Go night night." Like what?
What?
Every time I see that, I like cringe. Like
Oh my
people
God.
don't talk like that.
Yeah.
or like when Laurie says something to Hawkins like, "I'll take his head as he takes mine."
Nope.
Like
Who talks like that? No
people
one
don't
says
talk like that.
Right.
People just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go kill him." Like
Right.
just say that.
Exactly. I'm gonna beat his ass.
Yeah, say something way more cool instead of like talking like you're in some Shakespeare play or something.
Exactly.
All right. Next, we got Halloween 2, Rob Zombies. I got me, I have it at 10, Anthony at 4, and Ryan at 7. So we got a split there. All right. Anthony, how about do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I had a feeling this would be, a lower. It's not as low as I thought it would be, so I'm happy for that. It seems like it's more in the middle, so I'll take it.
I'll defend my placement of it here whenever we get to me.
I'll take the win there because a lot of people put this like dead last, second to last, like it's usually way at the bottom. But I'll say right now, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is like it's weird to me when people like talk shit about this movie because they're clearly looking at it from like a very subjective place and not like objectively, because objectively this movie's incredible. It's shot very well. The cinematography, the directing, the acting, the atmosphere. Tyler Mane as Michael Myers is amazing. Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett. His acting is incredible. When he finds, spoilers, we're spoiling all these movies, but when he finds Daniel Harris, or her character, dead in the bathtub, there's blood all over the place and everything, and he just breaks down emotionally. I mean, that's an epic performance from Brad Dourif. And just the directing wise, just Rob Zombie having the idea to like, let's put in some like old footage of Harris when she was a kid playing with her dog, and those are the memories that her father's thinking of, is when she was a little girl playing with her dog, and now she's just dead on the bathroom floor, blood everywhere. I mean, it's so intense. I mean, we were talking about some of the other movies, how they weren't intense enough. These movies, this and his first Halloween, are very intense. They're probably the most intense in the entire franchise. But I think a lot of people get upset because of some of the things that I hear is like, well, it's not at all like John Carpenter's. It's like way different. Well, it's like, well, yeah, of course. He wanted to make it his own. He wanted to make it more of a realistic interpretation of Michael Myers and not so much like a theatrical like movie like the original John Carpenter's Halloween. He wanted to make his more realistic, gritty, down to earth,
And
so that
more Rob Zombie, because the first
yeah,
one to a certain degree like follows the first movie, and
yeah,
then this one's its own thing.
it
It's
is.
more like
Yeah.
he has more creative freedom.
Yeah, and he wants to separate himself from Carpenter because otherwise people are just going to complain and be like, "Oh, you just ripped off John Carpenter." If you just like copy and paste it. So it's like I'm glad he kind of went his own way with his movies. And another thing is like the white horse, the dream sequences and stuff like that, but it tells you at the beginning of the movie what the white horse represents and all that stuff, so it does give you it does kind of tell you. I know it's still weird and out there, but I enjoy it because in a way, Michael, Michael dies in the first film. He gets his head blown off. He's dead. So now he's like zombie Michael walking the earth, and he still wants to find his sister, and he's being haunted by his younger self and his mother, and he has all this rage and all this stuff, going on inside of him, and he's not he's not fulfilled, he's not complete. So until he finds Lori, aka Angel, his younger sister, so that's his journey in this film. And I think it's done very well. It's very it's very emotionally taxing movie all the way through. And I think Scout Taylor Compton does a great job with her performance, even though I know it can be a little over the top, a little annoying. I understand the criticisms, but it's a realistic interpretation of someone who's been through trauma, what she's been through. So it makes sense. She's going to see a counselor, and she can't just live a normal life anymore. She literally killed a man, shot him in the head, and she just got her ass whooped up and down the house. All this. Her parents were brutally murdered, or her, step parents, the people she thought were her parents. It's like, she couldn't have gone through anything worse than that. It's traumatizing. So I don't think this movie gets enough credit for. I think Rob Zombie wrote a really good, solid script for this movie. He made it different because he had intended just for it to be a one and done with the first Halloween film. So he's like, what can I do? He's dead, So I think he still came up with gold. Just coming up, creating the script and everything. And I'll keep on defending it. And I gave this a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ryan, what about you? Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
So I give this a 3 out of 5. And I do like with both them developing Lori here, she's going through a lot of trauma, and then Michael, he's having these hallucinations and such, and like he's being guided back to go back to Lori and everything like that. And then Lori, she finds out that she's Angel Myers and everything like that. I do like that this film it does have like its emotional beats to it. I don't love it as much as the first one that he made, but I don't think it's shit like people say it is. Like I really don't. I think genuinely Rob Zombie, like I have like a kind of like a mixed reception of him. Like, I like this in Halloween, and I like House of a Thousand Corpses. Devil's Rejects isn't too bad, but like 3 from Hell I don't like from him, and 31 I'm not big on from him. So like I have like a little bit of mixed reception with him as a director. But I think with these two movies, I do think that he does do a good job of making it his own. I get that it's really tough to follow footsteps of like the original Halloween and with John Carpenter and everything. But, there's different budgets here, and, the way that he did both stories, I do feel like he did a really good job creating it his own. You have was it Loomis does the book in this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Loomis has the book and everything, and like everybody hates him for doing this, and they blame him for everything that happened. So it's interesting, that whole thing going down. I think it's a genuinely interesting movie, and I think like characters are developed pretty well. I think everything makes sense. Like I don't feel like this one like goes in like left field or anything like that. Like I feel like it's pretty focused. And I think they're shot pretty well. I mean, I got the steelbook they just released at Walmart, the two set, and I didn't think they were bad in Blu-ray. To be honest with you, I thought they're pretty well shot, and yeah, I just like what he did with it. I think like he does a pretty good job of making both his own. Like I don't love this as much as the first one, but I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. Like I would definitely watch both of these back to back with no problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I also gave this movie a 3 out of 5. Like this is like the start of my list where I'm like, I like all these movies now, and I had this at what 10. So only 3 of the movies in this franchise I gave negative reviews for, and I think below this one was Resurrection, and that one's a 2 out of 5. So this one's a 3 out of 5. So a significant jump for me. It's just I just like the movies above this one more than this one. That's really the only reason why it's this low on my list. But I don't think this movie had. This is I've seen this 3 times now. Yeah, I've never thought this movie's as bad as everyone made it out to be. Like I heard for years, oh, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. That's some eye-bleeding dumpster fire stuff. And I watched it for the first time, and I didn't necessarily like it the first time. It's a movie I've warmed up to over my 3 viewings, but I've never understood where people are like, this is unwatchable garbage. Like I've literally never understood that. Like, so I don't think this movie's nearly as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah, there's
at all.
There's a real disdain for Rob Zombie's Halloween films, and it's like you see it all the time. Anytime someone mentions these movies, everybody gets so like upset about it, and it's so odd to me, because I'm just watching these movies and I'm like, they're done so well. I mean, they're different, than the original Halloween, but don't you want them to be different? Otherwise, it's just like a copy and paste of John Carpenter's, classic.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I get it more for the sequel for 2, why people dislike that one more. I can understand disliking the sequel, but the first one I don't necessarily understand that all that much. But
yeah,
out of the 2, I understand the criticisms more for the sequel. I'll say that.
Yeah, because the sequel it has some weird stuff in it. There's some weird things going on. But I think if you watch it and rewatch it, and like I think it makes sense. I get where Rob Zombie's coming from.
But for me, I don't really care for all the white horse shit. Like,
yeah, I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
I just don't like the white horse stuff. I like the performances in this movie. Like Brad Dourif is awesome. Tyler Mane as Michael Myers is awesome. Like out of all the people to play Michael Myers, he's the one that I want to kill me the least.
Oh yeah,
because he's gonna make that brutal. Like that beginning scene with Octavia Spencer, that is brutal. Like this guy is brutal. He's like 7 feet tall. Like absolutely not.
He's a guy that supernatural or not, you do not want to get into a fight with that guy, with that Michael Myers.
He's just huge. He's huge.
He's a giant, man. I mean, he's gonna kill you. Like you could probably, maybe take on Nick Castle or Dick Warlock or one of the other guys, but when you're messing with Tyler Mane as Michael Myers
or James Jude Courtney, like the 2 of them, you got no shot.
You're running.
Yeah. And like the 7 feet tall thing like scares me because I'm like right at 6 feet, and so like I'm just like thinking about that. I'm like another foot on top of that. That's insane.
Yeah.
And so he does great. I like Scout Taylor Compton in the role. I really like Malcolm McDowell as Loomis.
Yes.
I don't necessarily like what they do with this character in this movie. They make him unlikable, but I like the way that Laurie finds out that she's Michael's brother in this one because of Loomis's book and stuff. Like that makes sense instead of just in like H2O. It's just like, oh, I know, and like no one ever tells
Yeah.
her or
Right.
whatever. It's just like I like that they give that explanation. Um, we already talked about it with Tyler Mane being brutal, but the kills in this one are really good. It's mainly just like the white horse stuff that I
Yeah.
really just don't care for, but um, otherwise I think it's fine. I think it's a fine movie. I don't know, I feel like I'm defending it at 3 out of 5 stars from like that.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's pretty unpopular to put it that high at 3 out of 5 stars because like most people on the planet are like, yeah,
Yeah.
gross. So I'm like trying to defend it,
Yeah.
but I've never thought this movie's as bad as people make it out to be. So good for Rob Zombie's movies making it this high.
But I'm with you with I think Malcolm McDowell, because I'm a huge Donald Pleasance, fan and everything. I love him as Loomis. But Malcolm McDowell, he really took the character and made it his own, and I like that he's like a jerk in the second movie because it feels more realistic. Because a lot of people do let fame and stuff get to their head, and I don't think he's like an evil person or anything. I just think he let the fame and stuff get to him, and it blew up his head, and he thinks he's the shit now. He's like, oh, I can do what I want. I can say what he's doing his book signings and stuff, and he's he doesn't realize, or he does. I mean, he's a grown man. He should realize that, his books affect real people. Like that dad that shows up at the book signing and he's like, recognize this girl, and it's his daughter. It's the guy's daughter or whatever, and then he pulls out a gun to shoot, Loomis or whatever, and the guy's like, security takes him away or whatever, and it turns out that there weren't even any bullets in that gun. The dad just wanted to kind of make a point. He wanted to see the fear in Loomis's eyes, probably like his daughter felt when she was being, brutally butchered by Michael Myers. So I really like what they do with this character. It's a turn, kind of like how Donald Pleasance as Loomis, he turns in the fifth movie where he becomes erratic and he's starting to become more and more crazy because he can't get over the fact that Michael keeps returning and he can't figure out how to keep him dead. So it's just driving him crazy. But this Loomis takes a different, he becomes a dickhead or whatever, just in a different way, he just, because he thinks Michael is dead. He's like, Michael Myers is dead, even though the body's missing or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just lets the fame get to him. But I think that happens to a lot of people in that position. Yeah.
I think we can also all agree that the best scene in the movie is when they're driving. The two corners are driving, and the one of them's talking about necrophilia. That's
Richard Brake.
certainly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's certainly my favorite scene of the movie. 10
So
out of
good.
10.
Yeah.
Next up, number 7, Halloween H2O. Me at number 9, the odd one out here, and then Anthony at 5, Ryan at 6. Two of them closer together again.
Yep.
Ryan, do you want to start us off for H2O?
Okay, so I gave this one 3 stars out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah, this one, it started off a little bit to get going a little bit, but I think like once it gets going, it's definitely a fun movie. I like the return of blanking on her name already. Wow,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad that she's back in this one. I like that they kind of do like a fake me out because you think that like Michael Myers is dead and he's not really dead, but yeah, like, and then like she has like her was it her kids involved? Was it the
Like her son?
Yeah,
right?
like her son was involved in this one. Yeah. And yeah, like this one for the most part, I think it kind of got it back on track for me. Like after like 5 and 6, like I feel like pacing, this one's better than 5 and 6. Like, it has a little bit of a slower start, but like I don't think it's as slow as 5 or 6. So I think they did better with that. I like the score more in this one, particularly than 6, because like I was saying in the producer's cut, I do not like the score, but I think the score is better in this one. I think the kills are pretty decent in this one as well. So yeah, like I don't have like a ton of gripes with it. Like I think it's fine for what it is. It's not amazing for me, but like I think it works, and I think mainly having Laurie Strode back and everything like that, like that's what I enjoy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, how about you? You had the highest, right? Yeah, 5.
5.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 as well, as Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah, I love Halloween H2O. I just think it's a lot of fun. It's just got, it's, the end of the 90s, and I just think it's got that vibe, and I really like it. I like the way it looks. It looks excellent on 4K, by the way. Really beautiful on 4K. But yeah, I like Josh Hartnett as the son. I really like that actor. He's in The Faculty. He was in 30 Days of Night. So he's solid. Really good performer. I love the realization towards the third act. When she figures out that Michael's coming back because now it's his 17th birthday. And then she realizes like that's when Michael came after her as well and stuff, and I was like, oh, that when that music drops there too, and because she's talking to her boyfriend, on the couch, and she's telling him all about like how her brother's just a psychopath, murdered all of her friends, brutally butchered them, and you can tell he's still not sure if she's being 100% serious or if she's just telling him a ghost story like, oh, Michael Myers, the way it's I love all that. That's great. And I like that Jamie Lee Curtis, she's an alcoholic. She's got a lot of problems. She's having a hard time dealing with that, especially every time Halloween comes around. She's just like, she makes her want to drink more, and she keeps waiting for the day her brother comes back to kill her. And that's another thing I love. I love that it's her brother still. It makes sense. And like Ryan was saying, the kills are good. I like them. There's not a ton of kills. There's actually like this long gap where like there's just no kills, no Michael. But because of the pacing and because I enjoy all of the characters in this movie, it never bothers me. I don't even really care that there's not a ton of kills in it because I'm just having a good time with just living in this world with all these characters. It's fun. But this definitely has one of the best endings. She just decapitates Michael Myers with that. I mean, what a way to go out. Now Resurrection ruins it. That's why I always tell people don't watch Resurrection. just don't, full stop. Just once you're done with H2O, just leave it alone. If you want to move on to
Halloween Resurrection doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, if you want to
it goes H2O, and then the next movie to come out was Rob Zombie's movie.
Exactly.
That's the world I live in.
Exactly. Just live in that world. And then after that, instead of watching Resurrection, go watch Rob Zombie's films. Go watch the David Gordon Green trilogy if you want, but do not watch Resurrection after H2O. That's that's what I always tell people. But yeah, I love it. I love the whole fight scene there towards the end too, where she's just dual wielding knives and just stabbing Michael, and he falls off that banister, hits the table. He's all bloodied up and everything. It's just it looks cool. I don't know. Now they did use 4 different masks for this movie. You have the one with the large eyes.
The CGI
you have
mask
another
for that one scene.
Yeah, you have another. Yeah, exactly. You have the K&B mask, and then you have another mask that. You have the CGI mask. You actually also have the Halloween
mask from 6, right? Yeah,
that's at the beginning of the movie, which still looks good. They should. I don't know why they just didn't keep using
that one.
Halloween 6 mask. Yeah.
It's better
And
than the doofy, huge alien eyes.
Yeah, so they have 4 different masks in this movie, and it's they use the one right with the wide eyes the most, where you can actually see his eyes and around them and stuff, and it's just it is silly. It's not great. He also has this weird kind of frizzy hair, kind of spiked up a bit or something. I don't know. It's really weird. But it still doesn't bother me enough. Like that scene where he looks through the glass there, and he sees Laurie Strode again for the first time in years, and she sees him, he sees her, and it's like, they're between the door, and he's got her right there, and she's just looking, and then she pulls the gun out, and he's vanished already.
They have that little Michael and Corey lock eyes moment.
Right. He just wanted to transfer his power to her. That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah, and why'd she have to pull out the gun? Like, come on, Corey.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I'm a big fan of Halloween H2O. I know everybody says, "Oh, it's a Scream knockoff. It's a Scream movie. They just did the Scream," because they use a little bit of the Scream music, and I don't know. Everybody always compares it to Scream because it was just around that time.
It just looks and feels a little bit like Scream, but I mean, a lot of movies from that era, especially horror movies, look that way. Like I Know What You Did Last Summer also does. Like
Urban
it's just
Legend, Cherry Falls. There's a bunch that came out. It's just a product of its time. I mean, that's just what the in thing was then or whatever. But I like it. But I like Scream, so I'm like, I'm fine even if it does have a little bit of those feels to it. It's still a really fun ride, What do you think? Shit all over it.
Yeah, shit all over it. I still like this movie. What are you talking about? I think why this one's lower for me is just because I watched 2018 first, and H2O and 2018 are very comparable, I would say. And just because, like, oh, Michael's coming back to Laurie X number of years later, and they're gonna fight in this huge third act thing. Like, to a certain extent, they're kind of the same thing. I just watched 2018 first, and so that's the version I prefer of this story. But I do like this one. Like Ryan said, it does take a little bit to get going, but once you get to that third act, it's one of the best third acts in the franchise, I would say. I just the eyes on Myers really bothers me. I don't think the performance of Myers is all that great either. I think it's decent, but it's not amazing. It's like middle to bottom Myers performance for me personally. Um, it's got a lot of recognizable actors. Like I believe Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in this one when he was really young.
Killed real quick.
Yeah,
love that opening. That's a great opening.
Yeah, with like because he's the one that gets the skate in the face, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah, it's just for me. It's just kind of like like we were talking about, like how all the movies in that era kind of feel the same, like Scream, Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, and H2O. I kind of lump it in with that. And while I don't dislike any of those movies per se, they're all just kind of okay to me. I would say this one's on the upper end of that for me personally, but I'm just not a huge fan of that era of horror movies. So when it's kind of, even though it came first at 2018 knockoff and kind of an era of movies I'm not all that fond of, it's just kind of okay for me. But I do think the third act's really good. I will admit that.
And just
one of the best third acts.
That scene where he comes down from like up top, like he's hanging up there, and Laurie Strode's walking by, and then he like comes down. I always loved that shot too. I always thought that was really cool.
Or like when he picks up does he pick up the security guard in this one with the knife, like the callback to
boyfriend.
It's her boyfriend. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's a cool.
Oh, because the security guard walks out and he shoots him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. But then the guy gets the knife in the back soon after that. So
yes, so good. Yeah, and I love the way that's shot too, because he's just like shaking, like he's having like spasms as like Michael's lifting him up and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. All right, number 6. This is the one I told you about that we had the biggest split on, our split of 8 for our scores. And I'm
I think
gonna,
I know what it is. What it is.
yeah, you know what it is. It's you and me, Anthony.
Let's go.
Wow.
Halloween 2018. So Anthony at 9, Ryan at 8, and then I fucked it up with putting it at number 1.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. This
So now you gotta tell
is
us why it's number 1.
Oh
yeah,
wait,
this
Fox. Do you want to go through the comments really quick? Are there
oh
comments there?
we have more? Oh, we don't have any more
Okay, we're
since our
still
last
good.
time.
I
Yeah,
just like to
we're good.
casually check in or whatever, just
Yeah, before we dive into this.
Yeah.
So damn, where was I going with this?
Number
Yeah,
1.
this is
Number 1.
when Anthony and I did our stream about like our hot takes or whatever. I had this one, and I thought Anthony would remember this one. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I did.
this is like one of these takes where like no one's ever flat out given me shit for it, but I just know that like people like always silently judge me for it for putting Halloween 2018 at number 1. But I don't. It's like I love John Carpenter's original. Like I'm not taking anything away from that film. Like last year I did my top 31 favorite horror movies on Halloween. Both of these are in my top 10, and they're right next to each other. So they're like so neck and neck for me. Like they're essentially tied. I just like this one slightly more. I love the story to this movie. It works for me. Um the James Jude Courtney, he is my favorite Michael Myers. I think like definitely from 2018 and Kills, and then the cameo we get of him in Ends, but he's great as Myers. I love the mask. This is one of my favorite masks. Again, brutal as hell. Not as brutal as Tyler Mane, but he's definitely up there for kills with Myers, and he just does so good with Myers where he's just like got those weird quirks about him, and the way it's shot too. Like there's just scenes where like Michael just like appears in the background and then like something happens. Like the one I always remember is when they're in the backyard and they're having that exchange. If you just watch in the background behind Oscar, Michael just like steps out behind the tree wood midway through the scene, is just standing there the whole time. So I love that. The score's awesome to this. Um, this is my second favorite score to the original, I'd say. I love what they do with Laurie here. I love the whole third act showdown is awesome. I love the whole twist of like the whole house being the trap and stuff. I love the opening to this movie too. It's a great crescendo to the title sequence with the awesome like reverse pumpkin thing. Like I just love this movie so much. It's also like I've said it before, but this is like one of my comfort movies where it's just like if I'm if I just want to watch something, I don't really know what to do. I just always feel drawn to putting in Halloween 2018. I do. It's just weird. I can't really explain it to a certain degree. I just put it on and I just am comforted by it. So I don't know what that says about me being comforted by watching a mass murderer kill a bunch of people, but uh, for me it does, and it's like a razor thin difference between this and the original. Just for those few things I said, like I like Myers more, I like the kills more, but otherwise they're like interchangeable for me. This one is just being realistic. This is the one I watch more. This is the one I like just slightly enjoy more. So Anthony and Ryan, go ahead and shit all over this movie.
Do you want to go ahead, Ryan?
Yeah, I would say for me, I really like the opening to this movie. The podcasters when they go into the correctional facility that he's in, and they have the mask and like he has no effect. Like I think that's such a creepy scene. Like because I think at that point in time, I don't think he had talked in years. I believe that's the whole premise there. And then in this one, it kind of shows Laurie, heavily drinking again, and then she doesn't have she loses her daughter or whatever, but she still has the relationship with the goddaughter. I like that whole aspect. It's funny because my wife wasn't really watching. She was kind of like peeking in and out of like me watching all 13 of these films. And it's funny because she's paid attention enough to know. She's like, when are they going to learn to stop transferring Michael in a freaking bus?
Right.
Or just like in any vehicles in general. Like,
so like that made me laugh. Again, like I feel like all these movies, they're all shot really well, and I feel like there's a ton of really good shots in this film. Story wise, like I give this a 3 out of 5. Like I don't love this movie, but like I think it's fine for what he was trying to do, reinventing the story. I don't know if I could say it's a comfort movie, like Fox said, but I do think it's a well-made movie. And if somebody said like which one is your favorite out of the three, like this one would be by far.
yeah. I think
Again,
clearly this is the best one out of that David Gordon Green trilogy. Like, pretty universally, people say this is the best out of those three.
Yeah, like pretty much anybody I ask, they always say, "Oh, I love that Halloween 2018." But like from there, like I always hear like people say, "Oh, it goes down from there."
Exactly.
But yeah, I would say I enjoy this movie. Like I said, it's not one of my favorites. It's I ranked it up pretty high. I would say out of the 13, 8. It's right in the middle.
about middle. Yeah.
Middle. So I'd say it's fine. Like I definitely would revisit it again. It's actually the only one I don't have out of the trilogy. I don't have the steelbook for this one. I never, because I wasn't collecting steelbooks when they were making this. So I have this 4K slip for this one. But
all three of the steelbooks for this trilogy are phenomenal, I'll say.
Yeah, they all look good. And then they just came out with a new set again, of course. They came out with that big that box set or whatever with all 3 of them.
Oh yeah, I saw images of that. I haven't seen it.
But I'm sorry, I don't want to rebuy them all again.
No, I'm good.
But yeah, I do like the slip on this. I think it's pretty sharp looking. Like I like the look of the cover and everything. But yeah, like overall, I'd say like I enjoyed this movie for what it was. Again, like reinventing it, I think he does a pretty good job. Like it's entertaining enough, and I would say, like I said, it's the best in out of 3.
What did you rank this one?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Okay, yeah, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. So I put it a little bit above Kills. Yeah, because I just think that this is just a solid story. I really enjoy most of the characters. They're still not great. They're just okay. They're doing okay. I prefer this Laurie Strode here. Out of all 3 of the films, I like her the best in this movie.
Yeah.
I really like Officer Hawkins. I think that actor does a great job. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I think he's everything I see him in, he's great. And he's actually really solid in the show called Falling Skies. That I like, the sci-fi show. But yeah, solid actor. And some good kills. I actually like the Dr. Sartain character, but the reason I liked him so much in 2018 is because I thought they were going to tie him in to the Cult trilogy, like the Thorn of Cult stuff, because he just seemed like that type of guy.
Yeah.
He works at that mental hospital, mental ward type, place and everything. And they even say like, "Oh, you're the new Loomis," Laurie says that. And then when they showed him going like dark-sided and he stabbed Hawkins in the neck with that little knife, I was like, oh wow, he's obsessed with Michael. He works at that like hospital, and he's like this crazy doctor guy. So I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna tie this in with the Thorn of Cult, or the Cult of Thorn, and all that stuff. So, but then they didn't, and I was like, oh, well then what the hell was the point of that?
Yeah.
So it kind of lost its luster when they didn't tie it into all the Thorn stuff, So I was like, okay, well that just seemed kind of pointless. I still had hopes that maybe in the sequel Kills, maybe it would tie back in, and they would explain it, but they never go back to it. So I like that this movie has a definitive ending. If you want it, you can just assume that Michael burns to death down there, and you really don't even have to watch Kills or Ends.
Right.
You can assume that he's dead, and that's it. So I
Yeah,
really
that's
like,
my
or you could
preferred
assume,
timeline thing is just 2018. I mean, 1978, 2018, nothing else.
yeah,
I just like the 1-2 punch of those.
yeah, or you can assume because you hear that breathing that Michael does by the end of it, you could assume that he escapes and he's out there if you want that ending. But either way, you can just accept it for what it is. You don't really need the other movies. So
The
I
follow-up,
really,
yeah.
I really like that about this film. And then another thing that's interesting, just like a fun fact, that the original one of the alternate endings that they were thinking about using for this film is Lori when she's out on the front yard there, like out on the grass or whatever, and it's nighttime, like towards the third act of the film, when she's out there, her and Michael have a standoff and they start cutting each other with like knives and everything. And I guess she like, stabs him a bunch of times. And there's like a scene where he's defeated by Lori after this knife battle, and then he just goes over to where she shoots all those mannequins, that shooting range she has, and then he just goes, sits down, kind of looks off to the distance, and then bleeds out. And that was a possible way of ending the film too, but they ended up going with the him getting trapped down the basement, the fire sequence, probably because it looks cool, obviously. I mean, it's pretty badass ending, like the whole house is a trap and everything.
And it leaves it obviously left it open for sequels, which we eventually got,
That's what
because
I was,
you can
yeah,
interpret it in two different ways of Michael burned to death in this basement,
yeah,
the end, or he's not there anymore.
exactly.
We're gonna have sequels, and so you leave it open like that, and you see what the reception is to the movie before you greenlight sequels. 2018 was received well. Go ahead with your sequels.
And that's exactly it. I think that's why they ended up going with that ending, because the ending that they chose to go with is more ambiguous. Then because if they just show him sitting down and bleeding out, then it's like the only way to go from there is like he's like zombie Michael or something.
Yeah.
Like that's the only real way to go from there. So it makes sense, and I like the ending, and I like how in Kills he's burnt very badly. His mask is is like scorched and everything too. And visually it just looks really badass. So I think they went the right way with it. But yeah, I really enjoy Halloween 2018. I remember seeing it in the theater, and when that score kicked in, and like you were talking about with the opening sequence with the pumpkin and all that, like it was amazing. It really like just transported me back to like all the other times I've watched all the other Halloween films. I mean, it was like such a hit of nostalgia. And I really don't have much bad to say about Halloween 2018. It's just I still don't feel like, I think it's because I guess the movies just don't end up going anywhere. So it's because of the trilogy. But if you just take it by
So
itself,
would you say it's hurt? Like your reception of this movie's hurt by the sequels?
I think a little bit, yeah. I mean, I can take this film for what it is, but still, at the end of the day, the characters are just okay. Like, I'm not a big. I think the best Allison's ever been is in Ends, but that's like not a good. It's a terrible ending to a trilogy. Yeah. So it's like she finally hits her stride, but it's in the wrong film.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I prefer Laurie Strode way more in Halloween H2O than I do in 2018. I just like her character and her acting and her performance. Everything's just better to me in Halloween H2O with that. But James Jude Courtney is an excellent Michael Myers, and the score is phenomenal. And there's a lot of great kills and stuff in it. So I still really have a great time with Halloween 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, this is the movie also that kicked off like the slasher revival that we're in right now. So I got to give it credit
Yeah,
for that to a certain
that's fair.
degree, like bringing back Scream and what else? Candyman came back,
Yep.
TCM came back, Child's Play. It's like all these things came back because like 2018 just like ignited this fire and was this box office behemoth for horror movies and stuff. And I have a friend that goes to movies a lot, not nearly as much as me, but he goes to a lot of movies. Um, and out of all the Halloween movies, he's only seen the David Gordon Green trilogy.
Oh
Hasn't seen
wow.
the
Ah,
original one, hasn't seen any of the original sequels. He's only seen this trilogy, and he's not one that goes to a lot of horror movies and stuff, you know, but he was like interested in this. So it like definitely has like that cultural impact, I would say this one did, like of like starting this definitely slasher craze, but like being a well received horror movie that a lot of people went and saw and liked. So
yeah.
I would say. So I think it's pretty I don't know, pretty cool in that regard, I would say.
No, I agree with you. You're right. It did do that. Kind of like Scream did in
In
'96.
the
Brought back
nineties. And
the horror
how even
films
the
back.
original Halloween did in '78 too. Kicked off the slashers of the '80s, like Friday the
Yeah,
13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah.
Good stuff. All right. I didn't tell you this, but this is the part of the ranking where it's just Ryan's ranking from here on out. So, Ryan, if you know
Uh,
your ranking, the next 5 movies are all in the correct order for you. So,
wow, that's interesting.
I don't know how you did it, but
That's wild.
Very well done,
congrats to
sir.
you.
Very well
So,
done.
this is Ryan's list now. So, fifth place, Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. I had it at 4, Anthony at 6, and there's Ryan being all correct there. So, we're all pretty close on this one. We're all yeah, all right
Yeah,
around the average there.
yeah.
So, Ryan, how about you start since you're right.
Okay. Yeah. So this one, um, this is my I think introduction to Danielle Harris. I didn't really know much about her, but I know more about how she's an icon now. And I do like what they do with her character in this one. Um, I like this one definitely pacing wise more than 5 and 6. I appreciate this one more than 5 and 6 for sure. I think I gave this. Let's see, what did I give this? I gave this a. Okay, I gave this one 3 stars as well. Um, but with this one, I did like. I think this is the one where he escapes again from the bus. Right, the bus crashes on this one.
Yeah, yeah, the ambulance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
like an
ambulance.
ambulance because he's all like bandaged up at the beginning. Then they're like at that gas station.
Yep. So I like that. That was cool to kick the movie off and like him going back into Haddonfield and everything like that. Um, I think there was more like a little bit of what do you call it, like psychological kind of thing to this movie
Mm.
with Daniel Harris's character that I did like more that they went into. I'm trying to think what else with this movie. You know, I've watched so many of these; they all run together. After
No,
a
for sure.
while.
It's
Yeah,
a lot because you rewatched all these and you like kind of binged through them.
I binged through them all
Yeah.
like within the past month, and most of them I have only seen twice. So this is like twice viewing. So just remembering them. all.
it's a dude in
Trying
a
to think what
mask.
else.
What else you need to know about each movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, doing the mask. But yeah, I definitely like would say I enjoyed this one more than 5 and 6 for sure. Kills are pretty good in this one for what I remember. And then this is the one I think where the guy gets electrocuted on the fence that we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, where he I
Yeah,
think like
Bucky.
throws them in like
Yeah,
the electrical
Bucky
thing, then
hits.
like all the
Yep.
sparks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun little kill. I like them to mix it up a little bit here and there. Like, he doesn't always have to kill somebody with a knife, does he?
No. He
You
switches
know,
it up.
so-
He switches it up in this movie. He kills them in a lot of different. Kills people in
so
a lot
I
of
think
different ways.
I think that's what I appreciate about this movie is like that he just didn't have to use a knife in this one,
Right.
all the time. So I appreciated that. Yeah, I just like the different direction they did with this one. You know, but I would say like out of that box that they did, or no, this was not the box set, but before they went to 6, 7, and 8, I think like this one, like out of like those, I would say like this is definitely one of my more like better paced and more one that kept me interested the most, I would say. Like out of like 5 and 6, I think. So yeah,
I think it's definitely the best of the Thorn trilogy.
Right.
By far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for me, you know, I think Donald Pleasance is like killing it once again as Dr. Loomis. Yeah, I love when he first confronts Michael again, and you know they're at the diner, and Michael had just killed like a bunch of people at the diner, and I love how he's got the bandages around his face. I think that looks cool visually, and I love that shot too, where it just like zooms in on him, like when Donald Pleasance
down that hallway.
Yeah, when Loomis first sees Michael, and it just does that quick zoom in shot, you know. Yeah, and you know, I love that Loomis is like, you know, if you need, you know, he's like, leave these people alone, you know, if you need another victim, take me, you know. And then he's, you know, Michael's not having it, and Loomis is like, God damn you, you know. And then he's just starts being at him or whatever, and then Michael's just gone. He's just like ninja vanishes, you know, like he's just out of there when the camera, you know, pans back. But I like that look, and some people probably would say they should have just left the bandages on, because I know not a lot of people love the Halloween 4 mask. Now I actually don't mind it, but this is the other film, the fourth and the fifth were the two that I grew up watching the most, so the mask never bothered me. I actually kind of like it. The only thing I would probably change about it is I'd make it a little dirtier. It's a little too white, you know. It's very bright white. I probably would have dirtied it up a little bit, but I like the
I would have
can't see
changed the
the
hair instead of being like slicked back.
Yeah, you can't see the eyes though, which I like. The mouth is creepy in a way too, because how close the lips are and stuff. I don't know. There's something creepy about it. But yeah, I think Rachel and Jamie are both great, like final girls in this film. They both do you know, Daniel Harris is such a phenomenal child actor. Yeah, so she really brings it. She like elevates this movie and the fifth movie, and she's a mute in half of the fifth movie, more than half of the fifth movie, and she still just kills it. You know, because she's got such you know, she emotes so well in her face. Yeah, so I really like the two leading ladies, but I think all the supporting characters are solid too. Even just the opening before the ambulance crashes and stuff, and you know, they're like, you know, the one doctor or the one guy, you know, the guy that's going to be transporting Michael, he's like, oh my God, or whatever. And the guy's like, God has nothing to do with this place. You know, I just love that. It really like sets the tone, sets the mood. And then as soon as those doors open, it just kicks in the Halloween score and everything, you know, when they're like transporting him into the ambulance, those doors just burst open. That's when the theme kicks in. It's so good. I love how Michael systematically takes down the entire town, from cutting the power when he kills Bucky, throws that guy into the power lines. He kills the entire police station. And he's just going, you know, and just taking everything out. So they have, you know, that they're basically
all
just
their infrastructure's done or gone.
Yeah.
He's unhinged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and Yeah, and like you were saying, Ryan, too, is he has a lot of different kills in this movie. I mean, he has
Yeah.
multiple face gougings where he's just grabbing people's faces. He kills like 3 people by just grabbing their face. Like he sticks his thumb to the one guy's, forehead and rips part of the one guy's face out that's driving the truck. And then the boyfriend guy that's got he's got, the gun and everything. And he gets that guy's face too. So it's like a lot of face gouging and stuff going on. But yeah, and then the one chick that she gets impaled by the shotgun or whatever. He just hits her with that right into the wall. That's a great kill. A lot of good kills in this. But yeah, the atmosphere, the opening credits, just showing all the farm towns and Halloween, decorations and just like that fall style, and it just sets it up perfectly. So I gave this movie a 4 out of 5. Definitely one of my favorites. I can go back and rewatch it. Ryan, what did you say you gave this 1 out of 5?
I gave it 3 stars.
Okay, 3 out of 5 stars. Yeah.
I think I'm in the middle. I think I gave it 3.5.
Okay. So, Fox, what do you think of this one?
So yeah, I really like this one. I think the mask is okay. It's not one of the best masks, but
Yeah.
the guy's name, George P. Wilbur, he played Michael in this one, I believe, too.
Yeah.
This one in 6. I really like him as Myers, so I think he does great in this one. It's a really well done story. Like a lot of times you're just like, oh, it's just a generic slasher. Like it's just like a formula that it is. This one changes that up and like has a little bit more going on for it, and it's just a genuinely really good story. Especially from like the 80s where they were like churning out 15 slashers a year. They're all the same. So I really enjoy that about this one. I like how they're trying to like protect a kid in this one from Michael. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like how they do like people are gonna go out and get Michael in this one. Way better than how they did it in Kills. With like this mob that's kind of going out after Michael, all those guys driving around with the guns, and they accidentally killed the guy in the bush. That's pretty cool. I like the ending of this one where they shoot Michael, and then he falls down the well, and then they blow him up, or supposedly blow him up. Um, and there's just a lot of really tense scenes in this one, like when he's trying to get into the attic, and then they're on the roof. That's always like a scene that I always remember from this one.
Really good.
Yeah. Or when they're driving the truck around and he was like on the back of the truck and then kills everyone in the truck towards the end.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. So there's just a lot of really memorable things in this one. It feels a lot like the original one, just with a tad bit more gore, I'd say. But it feels pretty classic Halloween to me.
Oh, and shout out to Sheriff Meeker, that actor. He killed it, dude. He is so good in this movie. I love that sheriff in this. He really stands out a lot. I think he does a great job too. Because he's a really big guy too. He's imposing. I like what he says to that guy. He's like, you keep your hands off my daughter. Whatever. Or I'm gonna use this shotgun on you or whatever. Like, it's like, damn. I mean, he's very I don't know, he's a badass in that movie. I think that actor does a solid job. I believe he's like an ex football player or something too. Something like that. I think like an ex quarter. Yeah. Because he's a big guy. He's really tall. He's definitely in good shape and stuff. But yeah. Shout out to because all of the actors in the film do such a good job in their performances. I think everybody kind of has their time to shine in the movie, Yeah.
All right. Next up, number 4, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So Ryan and I pretty close. I have at 3, Ryan at 4. Then Anthony there.
Wow.
Sticking out from us with an 8. So Anthony, how about you start this one? Why is it at 8 for you?
Yeah, no, I really like Season of the Witch. I think it's very good. I really Tom Atkins kills it. Of course, he always does. I love that he's always like just so good with the ladies, so smooth in all of these movies, and and he just brings so much charisma to this character. But no, I don't. I gave this movie a 4 out of 5. So I mean,
Oh wow!
I don't have anything bad. That's the thing. I love so many of the Halloween movies. So even if it's lower, the majority of them, except for like the bottom like 4. But after that, it's just like,
Much.
I pretty much love them all after that. Yeah, there's it's just to varying degrees. But yeah, no, I think this. I love just the concept of this evil, this guy, this old man that runs this whole town and creates these masks for children, and he's just setting them all up to get killed. It's such a dark storyline.
Yeah.
And it's so weird too. That's the other thing I love about this movie. It's a very odd film because it's just like there's so much going on. Because you got like the robot guys, like the cyborgs, or whatever, and and then spoilers. But then by the third act, you find out that the lady is also a machine. To like, so you're like, wow, was she a machine this whole time? Did she get turned when she got captured? Like, did they do something? Like, you kind of, there's some mystery there. A lot of great kills, solid gore, and that lady's playing around with it, the chip, and then just shoots out like a laser and just completely destroys her mouth. The kid that gets the mask, he gets killed by it, and the bugs and stuff are all coming out. The guy that literally gets his head ripped off, and then they rip his head off, and then as the body's falling, the blood's just spraying out of the neck hole. I'm like, holy shit! This movie is just so many good kills and memorable moments. So yeah, no, I think it's a blast. I love that it's its own separate, unique thing. I thought that was a great idea to like every Halloween just have another film like titled Halloween and then subtitled something else like Season of the Witch, and you just have a new Halloween story every year. I thought that was an amazing idea. I guess the only thing that bit him in the ass is titling it Halloween because people expected Michael Myers, so it just blew up.
Yeah.
But great idea. And I don't really have anything bad to say about the movie. I think it's great. It's just, that's just where it ended up landing, because all the other films, I feel like I just probably watch more. I watch Crystal Michael Myers more than this. I watch Halloween 4 more than this. I watch just all the ones that were above it. I just probably rewatch more. So it's about it, but it's a blast, and it's a perfect Halloween movie. It really is a great Halloween film. So what about you, Ryan? What do you think of this one?
So you guys are gonna laugh, but so the first time I went to watch this movie, I had no idea Michael Myers was not in this fucking movie.
Oh, what?
So I was so angry that I gave it a half star.
Yeah. I remembered like when I first added you on Letterboxd, Ryan, I was just like I like did Halloween 3 shortly after that, and then I like just like, what did other people give? And you gave it half a star, and I was like,
so
what?
angry.
Because I gave it like 4 stars, and I was like, Jesus, that's a huge ass split. And then when you sent me like your ranking for this, and you're like, oh yeah, it's my number 4. I'm like, I thought you hated this movie. Like, what's going on?
So, yeah, like I said, like I didn't know that he wasn't in this. I like I said, I never had really went through the franchise before, and so I'm thinking the whole time, where is Michael Myers? Where the fuck is he? And so now that I watched it a second time, I looked at it from this point of view: is it really is a great Halloween movie. I think it's super original. I think it's an idea that it's not like, like a slasher movie, like obviously with Michael Myers, but the idea of the mask and how iconic they are, like I think that they did such a good job with that. I love the scene where the woman gets impaled with the face and all the bugs, crawl out of her. That's pretty graphic. I think it's funny too that like Daniel is such a perv in this, like with Ellie, like throughout or whatever. And I feel like so many times in this movie they tease us of trying to give us nudity with her, and they never do. I don't know if you noticed that. They do it so many times. I'm like,
it's ridiculous.
It cracks me up. But
So what you're saying is you would have liked this movie would have been #1 if they gave you nudity?
Probably.
I just something I noticed like so many times in it. I'm like, man, you guys are just like.
Oh, I understand your half-star rating now. Any movie without nudity is an instant half-star for me.
There's just something I noticed and picked up on like several times. I'm like, it's like they're just like teasing us with this movie. But no, I love the whole aspect. Like it's like, that mystery thing, and then the jingle like never gets out of your head. Like Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. It's like all in your head, and like after a while, like it kind of becomes a little annoying in a way, but like you're like it's kind of catchy too. So you're like, it was much more fun movie on a second watch. So that's why I give it a 3.5 out of 5 on the second watch. And like I think now too, as I'm getting older and watching more older like 80s movies and just seeing how like, because I didn't grow up watching a lot of older movies. So like now that I've been doing more film criticism and going back into older movies, I really think this is like an original concept, and I have more appreciation for this movie. I think if you look at it from a Halloween perspective and take it for what it is out of the Michael Myers franchise, I think you can appreciate it. But like if you're looking for Michael Myers, and maybe like you'll be like me and hate it the first time with the half star, you know what I mean? But no, I think it's a fun movie, and honestly, like it's definitely a movie that I would return to throughout the year. Honestly, like surprisingly, after watching a second watch, I definitely appreciate it more. So that's my thoughts on it.
Oh, and by the way, the lady that gets zapped by that laser, when she's playing with the chip, and her face basically explodes and the bugs come out. That actress was Tom Atkins' wife. Back then they were married.
Okay.
So that was actually his wife, that lady.
Oh, interesting.
They were married back then, yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So he's over there fooling around with that, that hot chick or whatever, and then his wife's
wife's next door.
Yeah.
And it's literally while he's fooling around with her that happens, and that the wife, that she gets the laser beam to the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Fox? What do you think?
Yeah, I really, really enjoy this movie. I think I have it 3, so I'm the highest out of all of us on this one. But I think I also give it 4 out of 5. So I guess me and Anthony kind of tied there for scores wise. But anyways, yeah, it's such a unique concept. It's like nothing you've ever seen before with like this concept. It oozes atmosphere throughout the whole time. It's like a mystery movie with all these reveals as you go longer into it, and it just becomes more messed up as you go along of like, oh, these masks are meant to kill things. Oh, he's gonna kill all the kids on Halloween. Like that's just so messed up. But at the same time, it's so awesome of a concept. So it's such a great atmosphere and mystery horror movie where it it really works for me on almost every single level. Like really the only things that I don't really like in this movie is like the whole Stonehenge stuff doesn't really work for me. Like the explanation as to why the masks can do what they do, that doesn't work for me. I would have Personally, I would have preferred if it's like, oh, it's just this technology that kills the kids in the masks. If that makes sense. Like I would have bought that more than Stonehenge magic dust. Um,
Yeah.
but it's pretty badass to see all these bugs and like snakes come out of someone's head. Like that's pretty cool. Um, and then with what Ryan said about the Halloween song, like yeah, it gets on my nerves after hearing it for like the 50th time.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of cute the first time, like oh cool, and then just keeps going
Yeah.
and going and going. Like how many times are we gonna do this? Um, Also, the ending to this movie's awesome too, where like for a split second you think that everyone's safe because he got all the channels to turn off, and then there's the one left, and he's like screaming "Stop it" and stuff. And actually, what I went up to go get, I wanted to show it. My Halloween 3 steelbook signed by Tom
Ooh,
Atkins, where he wrote
ooh,
"Stop it" on there. Figured
let's
I'd bring that up.
go.
They said
That's
"Stop
bad.
it." So yeah, it's the Scream Factory one, and I went to a convention he was at, so I got him to sign it, and so yeah, that it's an amazing ending to the film. Like just such a I don't know. It's almost like the original Halloween where it's like kind of this cliffhanger ending. Like did all the kids die? Kind of like did he get
Yeah,
away sort of thing. But so yeah,
it's a
I
great.
really enjoy Halloween 3. The biggest crime is that it's in the Halloween franchise. Should have just been its own one and done type of deal. And then I think a lot more people would like it a lot more.
And what did you rank this one?
Um, Third.
No, no. I mean, what did you rank it out of 5?
Oh, I think I
I'm
have
sorry.
it
What did you
four
rate it?
four out of five. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Oh, nice. Very good. Yeah.
Hmm.
And just to say, I saw Dave in the comments. Dave, yeah,
Yeah.
you need to see this. You need to see this movie and do a review on your channel, man.
Oh, hey, what's
Yeah.
up, Dave?
Good
Yeah,
Halloween movie.
check it
Hello.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great, especially right now. It's definitely it just has so much atmosphere for like the Halloween season, and so like we're literally a week away from Halloween as of today. So if you don't have a movie planned to watch on Halloween, watch Halloween 3. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
I would, for me, I would say that's the most underrated Halloween movie in the franchise is Halloween 3 for me. But all right, number 3, we got a pretty big split on this one too. So
Oh wow!
Halloween 2, Anthony and Ryan both agreed it's number 3, and there's me at number 8.
Damn, Fox. Damn.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, I'm surprised that far behind there.
I'm gonna be honest. I was shocked that Halloween 2 was that high. I'm I don't
Wow.
know. I was so surprised it made it that high. Um, Halloween 2, out of all the Halloween movies, this is the one that feels the most in line with John Carpenter's original. Just like the tone and vibe of it, the way the kills are executed, the score, the way it's shot, all that stuff feels very much John Carpenter. Um, for me, why this one is at 8 is that this is kind of like the generic slasher of the Halloween franchise for me personally,
Yeah.
because this was a reaction. Making Halloween 2 was a reaction to Friday the 13th, which was a reaction to Halloween, and
Right.
so you kind of
Yeah.
like have this trickle down effect of all these slashers, and so yeah, that this one's just kind of generic slasher stuff. So I don't think it's terrible, but it's just kind of the cool. This one exists of the franchise for me personally.
No, that's very true. I mean, it is. But I just love it. I really do. I love that it takes place mostly in the hospital. I think the characters are all fun. You know, the people that are having a good time in the hot tub. You know, those characters are great, and just all the nurses and I'm fine with Laurie Strode not being in it that much, you know, and it being more of like a Donald Pleasant story mixed with all these other characters in the hospital. I mean, I think it's a good time, but it is just like you said, right? It's like it's a straight up slasher. This is the movie where you learn that Michael and Laurie are brother and sister, you know, so that's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, that's another negative I have for this one. I forgot to mention that. I've never liked the sibling angle between
Wow.
Laurie and
Okay.
Interesting.
Michael. And so since this is the movie that introduces that, I kind of like Why'd you do that? I just personally don't really like that, and so I I kind of just like Michael being motiveless evil, like not having a motive, just killing because, instead of, oh, he has a goal to kill Lori because of this reason. So
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, but no, I don't know. I just right like you said, the score is really good. And it is different too. I like that the score is different in this movie. It's not exactly the same. And I don't know, what has it got, like more of like a little synth to it or something? There's just some, it's a little bit different than the original. And yeah, the kills are all solid. I like Dick Warlock's portrayal of Michael in this movie. I mean, he's very slow moving, but I like the way the mask looks too. I know some people kind of crap on it because the mask has kind of been stretched out a bit or whatever, because Dick Warlock has a bigger head than Nick Castle, but I like the way it looks. And yeah, I mean, I don't have any negatives to say on it. I gave this movie a 5 out of 5. This is one of my 5 out of 5s. It's such an easy watch, and it ties into the first film so well. You can just go,
hmm
they
yeah,
almost might as well be one long movie. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, no, really, really, really love me some Halloween 2, 1981. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, so I give this one 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like you said, it continues on with the story. The memorable things that I can remember in this one, the marshal being killed by the scalpel.
Yeah.
That's a cool scene. The scene where they mistake somebody for being Michael, I believe, where he crashes his car and the car
Oh, the car.
explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brutal.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else that I can remember at the time, because I watched this one like 2 months back. So just trying to remember everything else. Yeah, like the score was fine in this. Like it's definitely different, I would say. I mean, I'm fine with the whole brother sister angle in this one, and I'm cool that it was in the hospital. Like I didn't have a problem with that. Um, I don't really, like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about this. I feel like it complements the first one pretty well, and it just continues the story. It's kind of like with Insidious, where it just goes over with 1 and 2, and they're like one long movie, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it. Just like what Anthony was saying. So I think it's solid, and I mean, it's definitely like one that I would revisit time and time again for sure. Like it's up on the list. I mean, I ranked it 3rd, so
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Dave Show said Halloween 2 is a classic for sure.
Nice. Glad you like it. How many have you seen, Dave? Let me know.
I don't know. Well, he's definitely said he's seen all the Halloween trilogy that David Warren
Okay.
Green. He said he enjoyed all of them, including End. So,
Oh yeah, I remember he was offset on that.
yeah. Well, Ryan loves Halloween Ends, just so you know,
Oh
Dave.
yeah. He is all about it.
Yeah. All right, our number 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween. I was at 5. Anthony and Ryan both agreed at 2. But yeah, I was when I swear I thought me putting it 5. I thought I was going to be the highest on this one before I got your lists. I really did, because because I just know the reputation of both the Rob Zombie films. I was like, am I going to be the odd one out for being too high in this one? Then you guys both put it above me, and I was like, damn. So I'm actually really happy that Rob Zombie's Halloween made it that high. I've always liked that movie.
I was nervous because I didn't know where you guys were going to go with it. So I kept waiting. Like, oh, is this where it's going to be? Oh. And then as it made into the top 5, I'm like, wow, could this go all the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just makes me so happy that that movie makes it that high. So you can be like, to all the Rob Zombie haters, there you go.
Fuck the Rob Zombie haters.
Yeah. But no, I really enjoy kind of getting this backstory to Michael Myers to an extent. I know I just said I kind of like Michael being motiveless evil, so I guess I could just contradicted myself, but whatever, I don't care. It's cool to get this backstory segment for him with like his fucked up family and like
Yeah.
why he's so messed up, and then you get that section with like him in the hospital with Loomis, like kind of exploring
Yeah.
why Loomis is obsessed with Michael, that we never got an explanation for essentially in the first film. And then when you get into the last half of the film, it's essentially just the John Carpenter's original film, but
Right.
extreme, like insanely extreme. And I really enjoy that. Like I like Rob Zombie when he goes extreme with the gore and the intensity. And it's a story that's already been proven to work. And so when you just take like the Rob Zombie intensity plus that story, it's just a really entertaining experience. Um,
I
Honestly, the
was
only thing that holds this one back for me is that I just like the ones above it more. But I really enjoy this one. Some of the dialogue kind of bothers me in this one. A lot of times when I watch this, I am just waiting for that second half because I enjoy the second half more than the first half. I feel like that's the main reason I watch this movie. Um, but all in all, I really enjoy this
I was good to you, Mikey.
film. Danny Trejo, he did not deserve that.
He didn't, man. He got
So nice
savage.
to him.
He got savaged. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that for me, this is also a 5 out of 5. And I think it's because, like I said, I give. Oh, thank you, Dave. I appreciate you subscribing, man. I just got the notification.
He got us both.
But I really appreciated Rob Zombie, like I said, making this his own, not copying John Carpenter's movie. And he really does that by exploring some of like the nature
Yeah,
versus
the
nurture
first half
debate.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and the first half is like 45 minutes. I mean, all of that, like looking into Michael and discussing it with him. You get all this stuff with Michael and his mother, which is very sad. And you get his whole upbringing. And it's so well done because you really do. You feel bad for the mom. I mean, I think Sherry Moon does a great job portraying the mother in this film. I feel bad for her the most, honestly, out of anyone. Because she's just trying to do the best she can, you know. I mean, I know she's a stripper and all this stuff, but hey, we can't all be dealt the best of cards, you know. So, she's just trying to make it, and you know, she's got a shitty boyfriend or stepfather. You know, it's like their stepfather or whatever. I mean, he's just, you know, an absolute pile. That actor does a phenomenal job playing him too, and the reason why the first half of this film is so hard to watch and everything is because it's juxtaposed with then the second half where you see Laurie Strode, aka Angel, living this great normal life with amazing parents, you know, because she doesn't remember her old life because she was just a baby, you know, and then the Strodes adopted her, and that was it. This is just the life she knows, and her parents are so kind to her and sweet, and she's got couple best friends, and life's just going so well for her. And you see Michael just kind of like lumbering, you know, or he's just kind of like over in, you know, the shadows, over in the trees, and just watching, you know, her have this great life. And he's, you know, he's probably just that probably infuriates him more seeing that, you know, the rage is building because his life was just so shitty for all those years, you know, locked up in a mental institution, losing everything. And so I think it's important to remember that. I think that's why Rob goes so hard at the beginning of this movie, because then he wants to show, you know, the other side of it, where it's like, oh, she's got a great life, and you know, Laurie's got this awesome life, great friends, awesome parents. So it's that juxtaposition. I think that's why he does it like that. And the reason Danny Trejo dies too, there is meaning to that, even though it is really sad. You feel bad for Danny Trejo's character, but it's to show you that Michael doesn't care about anyone. He's a savage.
Yeah.
So you can be as nice to him as you want. He's going to kill you. Like, basically, the only one he doesn't want to kill is his sister, you know? But anyone else that's in his way or whatever, it doesn't matter how nice to him you were or anything. You know, he's just, you know, he'll mow you down just like anyone else. You know, and yeah, I mean, I think the movie just gets all this like unwarranted hate, you know, and you do hear people complain a lot about the opening, you know, and all the bad language and how dark it is and depressing and this and that, but it's like there is a method to the madness. There's reasonings, you know, behind it, like pretty much everything Rob Zombie does in this movie. You know, so, and once again, the cast, I think everybody does a great job, you know. And the kills are brutal. It's a very intense film.
Yeah. Got that Tyler Mane as Michael Myers again, like,
yeah,
insane.
Crazy.
Malcolm McDowell as, you know, Dr. Loomis, especially those first like I said, 40 to 45 minutes, you know, when he's trying to figure out young Michael, and you know, it really adds a lot to his character.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, and Malcolm McDowell is such a good actor, and so when you get like where he actually, instead of where he gets to like show his acting ability, like when he's having these conversations with Michael and stuff, and it's like him as an actor instead of just him trying to do a Loomis, you know, like you get more from him, if that makes
and
sense.
there's more yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And there's more, you know, just to say a little bit about Rob Zombie's directing, you know, the scene where young Michael's sitting in the back of that cop car, and then like time freezes, and you see all the cop car, you know, you see all the police officers and you know, paramedics and everybody, and you know, his mom and everyone, they're all frozen, and then it just like slowly goes to Michael in the back of the cop car and just shows his face or whatever in real time, but everybody else is frozen. That's some really good directing. I mean, Rob Zombie does not get enough credit for his directing, and it drives me crazy, because his movies are two of the best directed out of all of them. I mean, they're filmed like just so well, and they look beautiful. I mean, it's like, I know they're dark, but they look fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think he gets enough credit for that.
Yeah.
But
Whether or not I like his movies or not, for Rob Zombie, I think he has a very good visual style. Like he knows how to direct movies. Just like the main problem with most of his movies, for me personally, is just his script writing. But he's got everything else down pretty well. But like that's just the main thing for Rob Zombie as a whole for me. But
what do
I
you
think
think?
I think he's a very good director.
I love this movie. I also gave it a 5 out of 5. I don't give a lot of 5 out of 5s out, but this movie, and my wife watched this with me the whole time, and she even said like, this is so good, because she's like, this shows like a backstory of Michael. It opens up obviously with his screwed up family. You know, I felt like this was one of the more authentic ways to build up a serial killer like this. I feel like this kind of story, it feels like a nightmare. It feels like so real the way that he wrote this movie. It feels like something that legitly could happen.
Right.
And the fact that, you know, he has this screwed up family, he has all this stuff going on, you know, his mom's a stripper, and obviously she's probably, you know, she's dating around, and you know, not in the best of relationships. And then, you know, when he kills, and you know, he gets locked up and he doesn't say anything, like it's so creepy to me. Like he does this, and like he doesn't say anything, and then like, you know, Loomis, you know, tries to close the case and give up on him, and then he just goes berserk. You know, it's a bloody film, like you guys said. It's intense. I like the scene. He, if I remember correctly, I think in this one, I believe he cut the electricity and cut the tires from what I remember in this one, or am I thinking of a different one? Can't remember if this was this one or not. I can't remember in this one if that's it, but I feel like with this one, like Rob Zombie, he did such a good job of capturing Michael's story from a serial killer point of view. And it's bloody, it's gory. The ending scene is I mean, it's crazy ending scene.
Yeah.
I think, and I think everybody involved did a really good job. I think like all the acting was really good, and just his atmospheric building. It definitely is more definitely brutal with the dialogue. He loves F-bombs.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Yeah,
he really does. And he very much likes graphic stuff. I just feel like his directing transfers onto the screen, and he makes it his own. And he, picking this guy, like I don't even know who the guy was, like playing Michael Myers. He's so intense and he's so menacing to me out of all the Michael Myers, like, standing as tall as he is. And like, he directly feels like the boogeyman to me. Like, if I saw him in a dark alley, I'm running the fuck away.
yeah. Right,
I am legitly scared, and
exactly.
I just think he did a fantastic job. Like, I honestly couldn't gush enough about this movie. Like, I had only seen it once in theaters, and I did remember liking it in theaters, but watching it a second time, picking up the steelbook and everything, because I haven't watched it in years, just reminded me back on why I loved it so much. So, yeah, I think this. I mean, this could possibly be like up there with like House of a Thousand Corpses for me, like with his films, like easy. Yeah, I just think he did a great job. Like, I can't say enough good things. Like, I don't think I could say really anything bad about this film, to be honest with you.
No. And Dave was saying there in the comments, he thinks Halloween H2O is super underrated as well, which I think is awesome. And
This is to answer your question about all the ones he's seen, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. Halloween 2 plus the Rob Zombie films, also H2 plus the new trilogy. Okay. Doesn't watch them all, but most of them.
Dave, what do you think of the Rob Zombie's Halloween films?
Whenever you answer that, Dave, I'll pop it up on screen.
Yeah, I'm kind of hear what he thinks too.
I got a quick question for both of you. How many of these movies did you guys see in theaters? Because for me, I only saw Kills and Ends in theaters. Those are the only two out of all these I've seen in theaters.
Well, I saw Ends, but I didn't technically see it in the theater. I saw it at home because it was at home. But I think I saw the first two, and then I saw I didn't. The older films, obviously, I wasn't around to go see it in theaters. But yeah, so technically 4 I've seen in theaters.
For me, 7. I saw H2O, Resurrection, the David Gordon Green trilogy, and both of Rob Zombie's films I saw in the theater as well.
You saw all those for first time in theaters, or did you see those like on re-releases for the other ones?
No, I saw them.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, first time at the theaters for all of those.
Awesome.
Yeah. I would love though to have one of those flashback cinema events for the original Halloween or Halloween 2 1981. Or,
do either one of like where you guys live have Alamo Draft Houses anywhere?
No.
Because they do a lot of retro screenings, and they're doing Halloween. Also, my local theater chain's also doing Halloween. I'm not going though because I'm gonna. Anytime I go to the theater, and then next week will be for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
I think it'd be really cool if they did something like on like
a marathon or something.
Yeah, like Halloween night or something. Or
yeah, it is on Halloween night too.
Oh, they do stuff like that.
That they're showing it. Yeah, they're showing it. I'd rather see the Five Nights.
That'd be awesome. The biggest bucket of popcorn, the largest soda, all the candy.
Yeah.
Those are the movies you want to watch.
Yeah, it's fun going to those retro ones because it's like some stuff that you clearly would never think. Like last year, um, my dad and I went to the original Black Christmas in
Ooh,
theaters,
great.
and he had never seen it before, and so that was really fun to go see that one. Because what, that is 50 years old this year, I think.
That's crazy.
That's
And it still
73.
holds up.
Yeah, it's so good.
I
That
would,
one, that's underrated as hell.
yeah, I would love. Yeah, I think it came out in 1974. It was the original Black Christmas. I would love to go see
Years
that in
were
the
home.
theater. That'd be a great flashback event.
Dave Show. I like the style of how Rob Zombie did his movies. Also liked how he made Michael a complete tank. Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
hell yeah,
that
man.
guy is insane. All
Def-
right, number one. What's it gonna be?
Woo!
Oh, the original
How
Halloween.
is that number one?
What? Oh,
I can't
I
believe it.
tried. I
This is
tried.
ridiculous.
So, I put it at number two. Let's not talk about that. And then Anthony and Ryan, both at number one. So, yeah, I hate this movie. Anthony and Ryan love this one. So, I'm gonna battle out. No, like, come on, it's John Carpenter's Halloween. Like, what? This movie's almost 50 years old, 45 years old
Yep.
this year. Like, for the past 45 years, people have been saying this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest horror movie ever made. Definitely one of the best slashers ever made. It's like the textbook definition for horror classic. Like John Carpenter's a fantastic director and created an icon with Michael Myers in one movie. Um, so much atmosphere, just has so much style. For the kills being super simple, they all stick in your head and you remember them all. Like the most iconic one is when he pins the guy up on the wall. That's awesome.
Yeah, Bob.
Um, yeah. So I mean, anything that I'm going to say has been said thousands of times by thousands of people over the past 45 years. It's an incredible film. I already said why I mean, it's number two for me, but it in 2018 might as well be tied. If I could put them both at number one, I would, but I can't. So it's an incredible film. Love it.
Oh yeah.
Both it and 2018 are in my top 10 favorite horror films of all time. So and I've seen a lot of horror movies, so that's no easy feat to get up in the top 10. So.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, right. It's a go-to. I mean, I rewatch, John Carpenter's Halloween all the time anyway. Whether it's around Halloween or even if it's in December, it doesn't matter. I watch it all the time. So, I just really, the score is amazing. I like the characters. I know some of, maybe some of the acting's a little whatever, but I mean, I think it's pretty good for the most part. I enjoy Sheriff Brackett in the movie as well. But for me, it's really that like slow burn, kind of slow pace that build up, him just stalking these ladies and everything. And because it's not a bloody movie or anything
Right.
No, not
so
at
it's
all.
really just about the intensity, the build up, and all
The
that.
atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere, which is palpable. I mean, it's just it's all that stuff. But for me, my favorite part about Halloween isn't Laurie Strode. I actually don't really. I mean, I like Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, but for me, it's all about the relationship between Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers. Because without Loomis, you don't really have Michael Myers because Loomis builds up all the mystique of Myers. So if you didn't have Loomis in the movie, it would just be kind of like a boring, generic guy with a mask, killing people. But Loomis just has so much good dialogue in the film, the blackest eyes, the devil eyes, like all these great lines that just build up the character. And it's, so it's for
like
me, it's
Loomis is he's essentially just an exposition character, but he's so interesting at the same time.
yeah.
Like, and that's like in like any other filmmaker's movie, it would just be, oh, this character's just dumping exposition onto you. But he's not. Like he's so interesting, is played brilliantly. John Carpenter just handles it masterfully. So like
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what puts it a step above like the rest, you know. And I really do feel like it's Donald Pleasance's performance in all these movies. This one, the second one, the fourth film, the fifth film, the sixth film. Like, I love that Loomis keeps coming back because I really think that character just he elevates every single one of those films, you know. So, yeah, huge fan. Love the original Halloween. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for me. What about you, Ryan?
5 out of 5 for me as well.
Yep.
And yeah, what I like about this one is just the mystique of like Michael Myers. Like, you know, if you're watching for the first time and not knowing, like, you know, he's just like staring down his prey like the whole time. You know, there's so many like iconic scenes in this one. The shot with the school, the camera following him over, you know, with him by the school. The bush scene where she sees him and then, you know, they go to walk down and they don't see him in the bushes anymore.
Yeah.
That's really iconic. And like I was telling you earlier, it's funny that all these movies, you know, none of them were shot in October. And I was listening to a little bit of the commentary and listened to the whole thing, but they said they had to pay a pretty penny to get pumpkins because this was filmed in like March. So there's like barely any pumpkins or like tons of Halloween decorations in this movie, which is really interesting. So that portion, and then I believe this was Jamie Lee Curtis's first role, right? I believe,
or at least one of them.
I think it was. Pretty sure it was. But I thought she did fine. I didn't think any of the acting was bad. You know, none of the acting's bad. It's just interesting, the story of how this kind of got started, and I just think the mystery of him is the most engaging thing about this film. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what's he really gonna do? Like, if you haven't really seen a Halloween film, or like this is your first time visiting it, like you just don't know, like what's he gonna do? You know what I mean? Like is he gonna get kidnap her, or is, you know, like what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting in that aspect, because, you know, it's for that time period that was super edgy, you know, in the 70s, and
Yeah.
you know, for the budget it had and what they were able to pull off, and how they shot these films and stuff like that, is interesting too. So yeah, definitely, like, if you guys get a chance, listen to some of that commentary, because some of there's definitely some interesting things that are said. I think Jamie Lee Curtis and the director, I believe, is in the commentary. So
Oh yeah,
check that out on the Scream Factory.
I'll definitely listen. I love a good commentary. You know.
Yeah, it's just interesting, some of the things, like how they how they found the house and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. This
Very
is
cool.
This is like one of the few movies from the 70s that I genuinely love. Like, there's a lot of movies from the 80s I love, but like once you start getting past like the 70s, it's more like movies I respect more than I enjoy. You know, where I kind of just watch them as like an exploration of cinema, I guess. But like, this is just one of those like quote unquote rare instances where it's like, no, I genuinely love this movie, and yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Dave Show also said, my top 10 would be filled with mostly Scream, hence why I haven't made one yet. Scream's awesome.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Whatever your top 10
Awesome.
is, you know, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking
There you
forward to
have
seeing
it.
Scream in the snow.
Scream in the Snow. Yeah, that'd be sweet, man.
Is that what the seventh one's gonna be?
I believe so. That's what I've been hearing. I watched
I
another
heard
YouTuber. He was talking
I
about
heard
it.
that what's his name? Christopher Landon, the guy who did the two Happy Death Day movies and Freaky, is gonna do Scream 7.
That'd be fine. I like those movies.
Yeah, I think he's a good director.
Yeah, I really like the first what's it called? Happy Death Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first one. I'm not a big fan of the second one. I've only seen it once. I saw it in the theater. I wasn't because it really switches up. It goes more like
Yeah.
Oh
sci-fi.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm not a fan of the second one.
the first one, I
First
really
one's real good.
that actress that plays Tree, I believe is her name in the movie Tree. That actress does like a stellar job playing that lady. Yeah, she's so funny, and when she needs to be serious, she can be. So she's got a good range about her. I really like that actress a lot. It'd be cool to see her in more stuff. Yeah.
And then if you like those ones, you should check out the movie on Prime. What's Totally Killer.
That's
It's kind of like in the same vein of
Yeah,
it.
heard a lot of good
It's
things about that.
yeah, it's like since Happy Death is like Groundhog Day but slasher, and then Freaky's like Freaky Friday but slasher. Totally Killer is just like Back to the Future but slasher. So
Oh, okay.
it feels like it's in that type of thing. So that's pretty cool. Then I got one more graphic for us tonight. That's our average stars for all these films. So here's our average stars for every single one of the films.
1.6.
Yeah, you got Halloween Resurrection there with the 1.6, but yeah.
We pretty much like the franchise for the most part. It looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, for the most part, we're overly positive. Besides our bottom four.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Halloween Kills is almost a 3. It's like a 2.8.
Wow.
Barely there, but yeah. I'd say we're overly positive on the whole franchise.
Yeah.
I really am, man. I'm very positive on the franchise as a whole. I mean, I most of those movies I can go back and rewatch. It's really just my bottom four. Like, I would say for me, I'm not going to rewatch Resurrection. I'm not going to rewatch Ends. I'm not going to rewatch Halloween 5 or Halloween Kills as much. Those four are the ones that I probably won't rewatch as much. Maybe Kills, because Kills does have this weird kind of fun factor at the same time. So it's verging on that. But definitely the rest of them, Halloween 2018 and Season of the Witch and Curse of Michael Myers and all the classics,
Yeah.
these movies.
2018.
Oh yeah. I'll rewatch
all. Yeah. So that's fun. Here, I'll go in quick succession here. Just show off all of our scores again. Because last place we got Halloween Resurrection there.
Boo.
Boo, get out of here. You suck.
Next up we have Halloween 5. I'd definitely say boo, you suck to this one.
Take a nap.
Oh, here we go. Best movie ever. Halloween Ends,
You
number
lied.
11 there. Then we got at 10th place Curse of Michael Myers.
I love it.
Then at 9 we got Halloween Kills. Still my favorite graphic of the night is Halloween Kills.
It is an awesome graphic, man.
That is cool.
Definitely.
Then you got Halloween 2 there. Good for Halloween 2. Deserves to be there. Then we got Halloween H2O at 7th place. Then you got Halloween 2018. Should be much higher than.
No,
6.
it's good right there. It's good right there.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you put it that low? Then we have Return of Michael Myers at number 5. Number 4, we have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Number 3, we have the original Halloween 2. Our runner-ups, Rob Zombie's movie, Halloween.
Masterpiece.
Yep.
And then Halloween, John Carpenter's original, number 1.
Masterpiece.
Back to back Halloween.
Yeah.
There you go.
You should have given Halloween 2018 a bit of rank so we could have Halloween. Like, come on. You ruined it.
It could have been Halloween.
Yeah. I like Halloween. Which one? There's 3 in the
Right.
franchise. I should have done that. I should have just made the graphics so generic for Halloween, so you can't just distinguish between the 3 films. We just have to guess.
Oh God.
But yes. So, do we have any more comments? Oh yes. Looking forward to the horror Thanksgiving movies next month. Yeah, you got the one just called Thanksgiving. I think that's
We'll be in
Eli
the theater
Roth.
for that one.
Yeah,
Eli
that'll
Roth
be fun.
film, November 17th. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Definitely gonna go support that in the
Yeah.
theater.
Is there any other horror movies next month I'm forgetting?
No.
Not that I
Other than
The
Freddy
only
this week.
the only thing that I can think of for November is Hunger Games. That's like the only other movie that I can think of, but that's not horror at all.
Nah.
Um, I don't
Napoleon's
know.
gonna be good. I know that's not horror.
Oh
But
yeah, Napoleon.
I've
Napoleon,
only
that
Napoleon
seen
looks
looks
it.
good.
good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure that will
most
be.
important horror movies, Five Nights at Freddy's, man. I'm so excited for that. Are you guys gonna go see that?
No.
I don't know if I'm gonna go to the theater or not. I may do Peacock route, not sure
Do the
yet.
Peacock? Yeah.
But I will watch
I
it.
got I got tickets to at least 2 showings already. So
To me,
I'm
that movie looks like it looks. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad, but they're kind of advertising it as like a horror movie. But to me, it looks more like a Goosebumps type horror movie, like more for kids, not so much for like adults. And it's PG-13, so it's not going to be
yeah,
brutal, or anything.
yeah.
But because
The main
it
the
feels
main
like one of those
reason
movies where no one's going to die, and it's just going to be like a lot of like, I don't know, maybe they capture them, or maybe they just die off screen, maybe if any of them die at all. But to me, it feels more like a Goosebumps style, I don't know, it just doesn't look scary. The trailers are trying to make you think it's going to be kind of like slasher-esque, but I feel like
It's
I,
not.
I feel like it's not going to be like that at all. No,
So I
we'll
have a
see.
quick question for you. Have you ever played any of the games
No,
for Final Fantasy? So that's why I'm mainly excited for is just because I played those games when they came out, and so I've been like a fan of the games, following it the whole time, and so it's like really cool to me that they're actually making a movie 'cause they announced it like 8 years ago. So I'm really excited for that. And so I won't spoil anything because there's like a ton of lore and stuff in the games, like a bunch of different backstories and stuff. So there's some directions I think the movie would go, but I don't want to you know, tell you guys for the
Right.
sake of it, potentially spoiling it. But I'm just excited for it as a fan. So I'm pretty scared to do a review for it because I'm
yeah.
pretty sure it's gonna be weighted and heavily biased, but I'm I'm just so excited. Whether I'm gonna have fun with it no matter what, just because I'm just gonna be so excited to see it. So that
Hey,
I'm
shout
just
out to
excited.
Matthew Lillard who's in there. That
Yeah.
that that kind of makes me want to see. I mean, I'm sure I'll see it like you said if it comes to a streaming service, or maybe I'll
It
rent it.
is. It's going to
What's date
Peacock
and date
on the
this
Friday. Yeah,
Friday on Peacock?
on Peacock. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Matthew Lillard's in it, and the lead actor, that guy,
Josh
is he the
Hutcherson.
guy from The Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he's a good actor too. So it's got some decent actors and stuff in it. I mean Matthew Lillard's awesome. I don't know how much he's going to be in the film, but he's always great. I'm always happy to see him back in the horror genre too. So
Hmm. So yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to. Dave Show said It's a Wonderful Knife comes out. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've heard of that one.
Justin Long is in
I
that
forgot
one.
about that. Yeah, that's right. I saw
Now
that.
that you say Justin Long, it sounds vaguely familiar. I might have just seen it on IMDb and added it to my watch list, but like I haven't seen a trailer or anything for it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I've seen a few reviews on it. I know one person said they absolutely hated it. So
Oh no.
I don't know. We'll see.
yeah.
Dang.
All right. So, well, I guess that kind of brings us to the end of our stream now. We've done our awesome ranking.
Yeah.
So, a lot of fun as always with these two fine gentlemen here talking about a horror franchise. A lot of fun moments. So, Ryan, what else do you have coming down the pipeline in your channel?
So I just watched last night a new Shudder film called When Evil Lurks. I know that got
Ooh,
a few
I
like
saw that. I saw that in theaters like a week or so ago.
yeah, it got a limited run. I had already had a screener for it, so I was like, I'll just watch it at home. I already got the screener, so I watched that last night. So I plan to do a review on that. I also watched a film called Shortcomings with the girl from Joyride, Sherry Cola. She was in that.
Oh.
She was in that movie. It's just pretty much about like this guy that like him and his girlfriend break up, and like he's just kind of figuring out what he wants to do relationship wise, and like getting his life together and stuff. So I'll do a review on that, and probably Freddy whenever I get around to it. I don't know if I'll see it this weekend or not because I know my son wants to see it. So I'm not sure when I'll watch it because I don't want to. He really wants to watch it, so I may not watch it without him. So. I'll probably get to that eventually because honestly, like these next few weeks, there's not a lot really coming out like theater wise. I know like next week, my mom wants to see that Priscilla movie, the Elvis movie or
Oh,
whatever.
the Elvis. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen a few things for that. I don't know if
but
I'm gonna see that or not yet.
yeah, she wants to see that. So I guess maybe I might see that in theaters. And then the next week after that is like Captain Marvel. That looks like crap to me.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
looks
want to
bad.
watch that.
That looks bad.
I'm
And
just gonna go see it because of my undying love for the MCU, and so I'll be
I
like, okay.
gotcha. Fair enough. And there's like the holdovers coming out. That looks okay. But that doesn't look like something I watch in a theater. So like there's not much coming out. So probably for the next week I'll play around when I'm gonna release stuff. So I don't know if I'll have a ton of videos coming out really. Just kind of chill, relax, and maybe I'll watch
It's
something and maybe I'll do a video of something, you know?
it's kind of that slower season now. Now that we're out
Yeah.
of like that summer rush of everything, so there's not a
Yeah.
whole lot, and most of the stuff coming out now, it's kind of like into that Oscar season now. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot of big stuff. It's more like the smaller stuff, like the holdovers and
Yep.
Priscilla, smaller stuff like that.
Yeah, I did see the trailer for that new horror movie Night Swim. I do want to go see that.
Night
I haven't
Swim.
seen it. I
Yeah.
haven't seen a trailer for that, but I saw the poster for it, and I was like, it
I won't tell you,
produced by
but
James Wan, and I'm like,
yeah.
sold James
Ooh,
Wan.
there we go.
I won't tell you what it's about, but there's just like a little small, like little teaser trailer out for it so far. If they don't do anything else, that trailer is fine.
Okay.
So, but I know they won't because you know they got to show us, they
They
got to
got.
show everything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
they left
Spoil
it
the
at
whole thing.
that, it would be fine. So,
hmm Anthony, what about you? What do you got coming up?
Tomorrow over on Pop's Movie Dungeons channel, we're going to be doing a top 5 standalone horror films. Yeah, I came up with the idea to do that one because I thought it would be something different, new. Not a lot of other people have talked about that. Just because I feel like we get into talking so much about like franchises. Halloween, Friday the 13th, The Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all the big franchises.
Insidious.
Insidious, and that's fun. I enjoy doing it, but I wanted to take away all the heavy hitters and just like let's talk about these standalone horror films. Just they're not associated with any prequels, sequels, requels, remakes, none of that. So that's going to be tomorrow night on Pop's Movie Dungeons channel at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm really looking forward to it. Other than that, I made a couple shorts. I'm messing around with the shorts thing on YouTube. I thought it'd be fun to play around with it, so I made a couple shorts. I did one of my Chucky posters, and then I did another one showing off a couple Toonie Terrors for Captain Spaulding and Elvira, the Toonie Terror ones.
nice.
And I did a Friday the 13th ranking video a few or like a week and a half ago. So if people want to go check that out, I had a great time making that video. So that's about
I
it.
enjoyed I enjoyed watching that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Compare just like comparing in my own
Yeah.
head like my ranking to yours, and I was like, what?
It's fun.
It's
It
so
really is
it's so
fun.
it's so fun. That's why I love like seeing different rankings and stuff because they get so weird and crazy when you like try
So do I.
putting them together and
Especially
stuff.
with these movies, because I feel like everybody's lists are different when it comes to like
Well, especially
Friday.
when you have a franchise that's this big too.
Yeah.
With 12 movies, of course you're never going to agree 100%.
Yeah.
When you get to like a smaller franchise, it's like 3 films, it's like okay, our lists aren't going to vary. But yeah. As far as what I have coming up, of course I will be reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's. So excited for that. Um, I'm not sure what comes out next week, but I'm probably gonna review whatever's then. Then the Marvels, then probably Thanksgiving, and then Hunger Games for November. Um, I don't know how much free time I'm gonna have to do anything because it's holiday season and working retail is so much fun
Right.
during holidays.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have zero free time, but yeah, not a whole lot of stuff I'm watching to like prep for anything, like a ranking like this. I've just been watching a lot of TV shows. I finished watching The Boys, all 3 seasons of that. And that was awesome. Probably gonna start Better Call Saul here soon. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of I'm just kind of at that time of year where I'm like, you know what? I just kind of want to watch stuff for my own
For the
leisure.
heck of it.
Not really like prep for anything. So I've just been watching a lot of TV shows I want to do. So
Good plan, man. Better Call Saul was pretty solid show. I really enjoyed it. So
I bought the Blu-rays for them, but I had to buy them on Amazon.
yeah.
And so I currently own seasons 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh.
And season 3 is supposed to show up this week, but it's
Okay.
like through a third party, so I don't get an exact date from Amazon or when it's coming. It's just by Thursday. That's it.
Oh wow.
I'm like, what day? So I've been checking my mailbox every day for like the past 3 weeks. I'm like, where is it? I want it sooner. But yeah. One more comment from Dave Show. The new Die Hard Christmas movie looks sick. If I know what you're talking about, I think he's talking about Silent Night with Joel Kinnaman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that looks really good.
It does.
Pretty
Yeah, I saw
excited
the
about
trailer for that in the theater, and yeah, it does. It looks really good. So
I'm excited for that. So
fun action Christmas movie. Yep.
All right. So I think that does it for our stream tonight, guys. So again, thank you guys for being on. Hell of a lot of fun.
Thank you
It's
so
always
much for
fun doing
having me,
streams.
Fox. It was a blast.
Of course.
Yeah.
Much
Always a
appreciated.
blast talking about horror franchises and having a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
it really
So
is.
yeah.
Yep.
If you're watching this in the future, go ahead and give us your ranking of the Halloween franchise down in the comment section. We'll read it.
Yes.
Maybe make fun of you a little bit for it if it doesn't agree with ours. But yeah, tell us why Halloween Ends is number 1, please. Make Ryan and Anthony happy. So yes, thanks you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
See ya.
Later.